Chapter 281. Ning Shu had never thought of owning this dimension. This dimension was on the verge of collapse. Moreover, Ning Shu wasn't sure if leaving this dimension to Wei Liangyue was a good thing or a bad thing for her. Wei Liangyue was just cannon fodder. She didn't have heaven-defying luck. Even if she had something good, it would be a gift to others. With this thing on her, she would probably end up the same way. After thinking about it, Ning Shu still wanted to send this dimension to the place where the dimension gave birth to the laws. 2333 Ning Shu asked, "Have you really thought it through? You should know that it's very difficult to go there. There are many spatial blades. If your soul is hit by a spatial wind blade, it might dissipate. For such a broken dimension, even if you go back to the place where the laws are given birth, you might not be able to give birth to your own laws. Is it really worth it?" Ning Shu bit her lips. She cherished life more than anyone. She didn't want to die. However, she had promised the dimension to give her a place where the laws were given birth. She was in a dilemma. Ning Shu hesitated for a long time. She really couldn't make up her mind. She sat cross-legged on the bed and cultivated. However, she was impatient. She even had a chest ache. She was showing signs of qi deviation. Ning Shu clenched her fists. She was very unhappy. She said to 2333, "I've decided to go. Since I promised I'll go. If I really die, it'll be a gain for me." The most important thing was to have a clear conscience. She couldn't complete the mission in her current state. 2333 was silent for a while. Finally he said, "Okay. I'll do my best to protect you." "Thank you." Ning Shu smiled. After a while, Ning Shu's soul left Wei Liangyue's body. She held the dimension in her hand. 2333 brought Ning Shu out of this dimension. When they were high in the sky, they encountered astral winds. Ning Shu had some trouble dodging these astral winds. "It's not too late to regret now," 2333 said indifferently. "These are just ordinary astral winds. Once you leave this dimension, you'll encounter astral winds much stronger. Your soul might dissipate before you reach the place." Ning Shu bit his lips and calmly said, "Go." "Ning Shu, you really have a hole in your head." 2333 sighed. After exiting the quest world, Ning Shu entered a vast expanse of whiteness. 2333 Ning Shu explained, "This is the gap between realms. There are spatial collapses, spatial winds, and wind blades. You must be careful, or you will be doomed eternally. No one can save you." "I know." Ning Shu focused, paying attention to his surroundings as he walked. A spatial wind blade silently flew towards Ning Shu's face. Ning Shu tilted his head to avoid the wind blade. However, a strand of his hair was cut off by the wind blade. Ning Shu was now a soul body. Every part of his body was soul power. If his hair was cut off, Ning Shu's soul would be weakened. Ning Shu didn't dare to be careless. He became more careful and walked slowly. Not only did he have to be careful of the spatial wind blades, but he also had to be careful of spatial collapses. If he fell into a spatial collapse, his soul would instantly be shattered. There are several spatial wind blades ahead at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Be careful to avoid them. 2333 activated its scan. However, it couldn't scan a large area. 2333 needed to conserve energy. Without enough energy, it and Ning Shu couldn't return. Ning Shu dodged the wind blades. Although 2333 warned him, he could avoid one spatial wind blade. However, it didn't mean that he could avoid them every time. As long as he was hit by a wind blade, Ning Shu's soul power would quickly dissipate. Ning Shu's soul body was a lot thinner than before. Ning Shu was afraid that he wouldn't be able to make it. After all, they hadn't even reached their goal yet. All he could do was cheer in his heart. Ning Shu covered the spatial realm with his hand and asked 2333, "How much further?" Ning Shu felt that he had walked a lot. "Not even halfway. I told you before. You need to think about this carefully." 2333 said, "Ning Shu, but I feel like I've walked a long way." Ning Shu didn't believe it. "You're mistaken. You haven't walked that far." "All right." Ning Shu dodged the wind blade in front of him. 2333's urgent voice sounded in his mind. "Don't go to the left. There's a spatial collapse there." However, if he moved to the right, he would be hit by the wind blade. Ning Shu pursed his lips and chose to take the wind blade head-on. The wind blade passed through Ning Shu's body. Ning Shu groaned. His soul felt like it was being torn apart. Ning Shu looked at his hand. It was almost transparent. It seemed that he was going to die here. As if sensing Ning Shu's predicament, the spatial realm in Ning Shu's hand slowly transferred spatial energy to him. With spatial energy, Ning Shu's soul became stronger. Even if the wind blade hit him, his soul power wouldn't dissipate so quickly. Ning Shu looked at the ice-sized realm and suddenly felt very happy. There were some things that could be done, and there were some things that couldn't be done. Even when doing a quest, there were some principles that had to be adhered to. Because of the toughness of his soul, Ning Shu quickened his pace. Walking in the vast expanse of whiteness, Ning Shu didn't know how long he had been walking. He only knew how to dodge the wind blades. The speed at which he dodged the wind blades became more and more nimble. He was rarely hit by the wind blades. "We're here." 2333's voice was full of emotion. Obviously, he didn't expect to really make it here. "We're here." Ning Shu looked around. This was a huge, indescribable place. It was like a sea. Ning Shu compared to the sea was like the difference between an ant and the earth. This place was full of chaotic laws. There were also some undeveloped realms floating in the sea of laws. The edges of the laws were linked to endless realms. These realms were attached to each other. Although there were 3,000 realms, there were endless realms and worlds here. Some realms were very complete and full of life. Some realms were full of holes and dark. This is a realm that is about to be destroyed. 2333 said. Ning Shu said, "Your mission is to prevent this realm from becoming like this." Although every world has its own lucky child, a 1,000-mile dike can be destroyed by an ant hole. Every living creature will cause harm to the realm they are in. The resentment of those cannon fodders will also cause the laws of heaven and earth to collapse. If a realm has too many people like this, the laws will collapse. Ning Shu suddenly sighed. The laws gave birth to life. They were like the mother of these life forms, but they hurt their mother. Ning Shu put the realm in his hand into the sea of laws. There were many new realms in the sea of laws. These realms would give birth to countless lives. Chapter 282. After sending the plane space here, Ning Shu's heart relaxed. She felt that this place was filled with Hongming purple qi, so she sat down and cultivated. Using her peerless martial arts, the Hongming purple qi merged into Ning Shu's body, making her soul stronger. "Don't delay, we should go back. It's been a bit long." 2333 saw that Ning Shu seemed to be addicted to cultivation, and reminded her. Ning Shu suddenly thought of something and asked, "There are many creatures in that space, such as kelp. What will happen to them?" "The plane will gradually give birth to its own laws. The animals living in it will adapt to these laws." "Ning Shu, I find that you're too nosy. Aren't you tired?" 2333's tone was filled with disdain. Ning Shu curled her lips. "I'm just asking. It's not like I'll lose a piece of meat." Ning Shu stood up and was about to leave when she saw someone in the distance, wearing a black trench coat, tall and straight, walking directly across the sea of law. In 2 breaths, the person disappeared. School Dr. Uncle? Who did she just see? School Dr. Uncle? Ning Shu shook her head. That's impossible. How could the school doctor uncle appear here? But the person just now was indeed the school doctor uncle. Ning Shu had met the school doctor uncle twice. And when she was a zombie, she stayed with the school doctor uncle for a long time. So Ning Shu was very familiar with the school doctor uncle. Just now, she knew that it was the school doctor uncle. But why was the school doctor uncle here? Why? Ning Shu was scratching her heart and lungs. If she had known, she would have called out to the uncle. But the uncle disappeared too quickly. She didn't even have time to react, and the uncle was gone. 2333, did you see that just now? Ning Shu asked 2333 for confirmation. See what? 2333 asked. Ning Shu anxiously said. It's a man wearing a black trench coat, looking very demonic and perverted. He just walked across the sea of law. You're seeing things. 2333 said faintly. No one has ever walked across the sea of law. You have presbyopia. Fuck. I really saw it, such a big lump. Do you think I'm blind? Ning Shu said unhappily. You're seeing things. 2333 said. I really saw it, trust me. She just saw it clearly. It was really the uncle, trust me. You're seeing things. Ning Shu. There was a shadow in Ning Shu's heart. Could it be that she was really seeing things? Impossible. Her eyesight was 15. Looking at the lake of law. There was no figures figure. There was an endless space that was endless plain space. She couldn't find the one she just now. Ning Shu turned and left, going back the way she came. Her soul power was stronger than when she came, facing the attack of the spatial wind blade. Ning Shu felt very familiar with it. She was rarely hit by the spatial wind blade. Along the way back to Wei Liangyue's body, Ning Shu opened his eyes and moved his body. He found that his body was incomparably stiff, and when he moved, his bones made cracking sounds. Was this Rusty? Walking slowly in the room, he moved his body a bit. Only then did it not feel so stiff. When the soul and the body were completely merged, Ning Shu sat on the bed and began to cultivate. The golden coiling dragon in his dantian swam. It was like a real dragon. Ning Shu took out a fingernail-sized spirit marrow crystal and swallowed it. Instantly the spirit chi swarmed, rushing towards his dantian. It was as if the spirit chi was going to break through his dantian. The golden coiling dragon in his dantian was immediately excited. It crazily absorbed the spirit chi, and when it finished absorbing it, the golden coiling dragon chi suddenly exploded. Ning Shu was dumbfounded for a moment. How did it suddenly explode? Could it be that the spirit chi was too much to take? Although the golden coiling dragon chi exploded, Ning Shu was not injured. The golden coiling dragon chi exploded out of his dantian, merging into every corner of his body. Ning Shu even felt that his cells were devouring the spirit chi. Clenching his fist, Ning Shu found that his strength had increased. Just lightly slapping the table, the heavy table was smashed into pieces. His body was filled with power. It was only at this time that this seemingly low-level secret manual revealed its outstanding appearance in this plain world suitable for cultivation. Ning Shu had never paid much attention to this secret manual. When she first obtained this secret manual, the system had only given her 100 points when she exchanged for it. It didn't seem worth much, but Ning Shu had always been cultivating it. She never knew that this secret manual was so powerful. From now on, if he cultivated this secret manual, even in a world limited by the laws, he could increase his strength and protect himself. Ning Shu continued to cultivate, recultivating the qi in his body. Once the qi was cultivated, Ning Shu took out the spirit marrow crystal and swallowed it. The spirit qi was finally absorbed by the qi. Ning Shu did not go out to cultivate. She did not know what happened outside. Old Man Wei came out of seclusion to find her. When Ning Shu saw Old Man Wei for the first time, she thought that Old Man Wei's cultivation had been abolished. The current Old Man Wei's body did not have the slightest fluctuation of spirit qi. There was no pressure from an expert. He was simply ordinary, just like an ordinary person. Father, what's wrong with you? Did your seclusion fail? Ning Shu hurriedly asked. Her powerful father was her strong backing. Old Man Wei said in a bad mood. Can't you hope for something good for me? I've broken through the bottleneck and returned to my original state. Stinking brat. The outside world is in chaos. I still didn't know that my son was so powerful. Ning Shu raised her eyebrows and asked, What's wrong? I heard from the disciples that came back from the secret realm that you and Yi Yu of the Hongmen sect were evenly matched. When did you become so strong? Old Man Wei asked suspiciously. Ning Shu said proudly, I'm strong, ha ha ha. Cultivation is the most important thing. What's the use of being strong? Old Man Wei sized up his son. Let me see how strong you are. Ning Shu followed Old Man Wei out of the room. Ning Shu clenched his fist, circulated his qi in his dantian, and used his greatest strength to hit Old Man Wei. Old Man Wei directly used his hand to grab Ning Shu's fist, and took 2 steps back. Old Man Wei's face revealed a shocked expression. His son's strength was simply beyond his imagination. Ning Shu withdrew his fist with a smile. Now he was using his body as a weapon. His body was a powerful weapon. A smile appeared on Old Man Wei's face, but he forced himself to put on a serious expression. He reminded Ning Shu, strength alone isn't enough. Close combat is fine, But what if the opponent wants to compete with you? What if the opponent doesn't want to play close combat with you? That's why you still have to train hard. Ningxu nodded and said, I know, I will definitely work hard. Father, what happened outside? Ningxu asked, how did the sky turn upside down? Chapter 283. Ningxu had previously sent the planar space to the Sea of Law, and this round trip had taken a month, so he had no idea what had happened outside. Old Man Wei looked at Ningxu with a pained expression, not knowing what to say. Ningxu. Father, if you have something to say, just say it, I can bear it. Ningxu was baffled by Old Man Wei's gaze. Is the Senfu on you? Old Man Wei asked. Ningxu almost jumped up. Father, how could it be on me? If it was on me, I would have told you long ago. That's good. That little bastard from Hongmen sect said that the Senfu was on you. Sure enough, he was under too much pressure and wanted to divert the trouble. Old Man Wei's face was very ugly. Ningxu quickly asked what was going on. Old Man Wei had gone into seclusion before and only knew about this after coming out. It was in the secret realm that Ningxu jumped out and said that the Senfu had been refined by Yi Yu. Most people believed that the Senfu was on Yi Yu. After all, so many people who tried to refine it had died, and only Yi Yu was alive. Everyone in the secret realm agreed with Ningxu's words and believed what they saw. They all believed that the Senfu should be on Yi Yu. After Yi Yu returned to Hongmen sect, the leaders of Hongmen sect hinted to Yi Yu to hand over the Senfu. After all, there were too many treasures in the secret realm that could allow a sect to develop quickly. Moreover, the entire Hongmen sect was being ostracized by other sections. This kind of monopolization made everyone jealous. If the Senfu had no one to refine it, no one would be able to refine it. It would be everyone's. Every time they sent some disciples to test it, they would bring back some good things. Now that it was being monopolized by a sect, everyone's hearts were filled with irritation. The more they ostracized the Rainbow Gate sect, the more pressure the Rainbow Gate sect was under from all sides. The more they wanted Yi Yu to hand over the treasures and obtain the treasures inside. Yi Yu didn't have any Senfu right now. The Senfu wasn't with him at all. The Hongmen sect thought that Yi Yu wasn't willing to hand over the Senfu, so they took a step back and didn't let Yi Yu hand over the Senfu. They wanted Yi Yu to get some treasures from the Senfu to increase the strength of the Hongmen sect. Right now, the Rainbow Gate sect was being ostracized by the other sections. Although the treasures were given to those who were fated to obtain them, the others didn't have them. Since the Rainbow Gate sect actually had them, they weren't worried about the lack of resources, but rather the unequal distribution. Therefore, they all targeted the Rainbow Gate sect. When the disciples of the Hongmen sect went out to gain experience, they would be attacked by the disciples of other sections. This put a lot of pressure on the Hongmen sect, and this increased the pressure on Yi Yu. However, Yi Yu really didn't have any way to take out anything. Moreover, the Senfu wasn't with him at all. The Hongmen sect knew that Yi Yu and Shi had an ambiguous relationship, so they sent Shi to persuade Yi Yu to hand over some cultivation resources. Shi helplessly went to talk to Yi Yu. Shi could be considered a woman that Yi Yu liked very much. Now that she was standing on the side of the sect and asking him for things, Yi Yu's heart immediately became hostile. Shi thoughts were very deep and had her own thoughts. She wasn't like the simple and straightforward Yin Jiao. In the face of this situation, Yin Jiao believed him, but Shi didn't believe that the Senfu wasn't with him. The current situation was caused by the Heavenly Dao sect's Wei Liangyue. Yi Yu even had a conspiracy theory that this was a trap that Shi and Wei Liangyue had set for him. From the moment Shi opened her mouth to ask for things, Yi Yu didn't like Shi that much. Yi Yu's character was that he would rather betray the world than let the world betray him. His woman must belong to him wholeheartedly. Yi Yu felt that Shi saw that Wei Liangyue's strength had become stronger. So when Shi said that she wanted things, Yi Yu's attitude towards Shi became very cold. Shi pursed her lips and didn't say anything. Her wish was to become a powerful cultivator. Without strength, she would always be the one being dominated. This was the sorrow of being a woman. As for men, perhaps she really didn't have the fate to have them. Huidi also didn't look for Yiyu anymore. The two of them didn't interact anymore. Yiyu's heart was very gloomy. He directly used Ningshu's method to deal with him. He directly said that the things were with Ningshu and not with him at all. However, not everyone believed Yiyu's words. After all, the son of heavenly Dao sect's Wei Ming, Wei Liangyue, was indeed a trash. The Senfu taking such a trash as its master was simply an insult to everyone. Although some people in the secret realm saw that Wei Liangyue's strength wasn't weak, everyone thought that it was because Wei Ming had piled up a huge amount of resources. With such resources, even a pig could become a spirit beast. Therefore, when Yiyu said that the Senfu was with Wei Liangyue, everyone was half believing and half doubting. Ningshu. He suddenly realized that the identity of a trash had such a use. However, the Senfu really wasn't with her. Old Man Wei gave Ningshu some more resources and told Ningshu to cultivate well. Then he went to guard the mine again. Father, you've already broken through the bottleneck and can be considered a top expert in the sect. Why are you still guarding the mine? Ningshu saw that Old Man Wei was about to leave and quickly asked. Old Man Wei glanced at Ningshu. Is the sect's decision a joke? I naturally have to clean up your mess. I definitely have to guard it for 50 years. Moreover, the crystal vein hasn't been peaceful recently. Naturally, I have to guard it. Cultivate well. Don't embarrass your father. Now that you have the ability, your father can walk with his back straight no matter where he goes. Old Man Wei patted Ningshu's shoulder. In the past, half of his body would tilt when Old Man Wei patted him. But now Ningshu didn't feel anything at all. Old Man Wei laughed out loud and left. Since Yiyu treated her like this, she had to do something. She couldn't just silently accept it. Ningshu released the Flash Wind Eagle. He stood on the back of the Flash Wind Eagle and headed towards the Rainbow Gate sect. When he arrived at the Rainbow Gate sect, Ningshu stood at the entrance and circulated his qi in his dantian. He shouted, Yiyu, get out here for me. When the disciple guarding the gate saw Ningshu, he immediately pulled out his sword and pointed it at Ningshu. He coldly said, Tiandao sect, are you trying to start a fight between the two sects by barging into the Rainbow Gate sect like this? I'm just looking for Yiyu. Just call Yiyu out. This is a matter between me and Yiyu. It has nothing to do with Tiandao sect and Rainbow Gate sect. Ningshu said indifferently. A disciple of the Rainbow Gate sect went to call Yiyu. When Yiyu came out and saw Ningshu, his eyes immediately turned red. His eyes were especially red when he saw his enemy. Wei Liangyue, you actually dared to come here. Yiyu's voice came out from between his teeth. It was very sinister. Why can't I come here? Ningshu saw Yiyu's haggard expression. There was a lingering gloominess between his brows. It was obvious that he was under a lot of pressure during this period of time. Little Hunyo Yinjiao stood beside Yiyu. Her eyes were red as she looked at Ningshu with hatred. She pointed at Ningshu and said, Look at what you've done to senior brother Yi. Yen Jiao believed in her senior brother Yi unconditionally. She believed that the thing wasn't on Yiyu. Chapter 284. Hearing Yen Jiao's accusation, Ningshu rolled his eyes. Which eye of yours saw me harm him? Instead, it was Yiyu who didn't want to hand over the Senfu's resources. So he framed the Senfu on me. I've never seen such a shameless person before. Yiyu looked at Ningshu gloomily. Who's framing who? You're framing me. Ningshu continued. He pointed to the sky and swore. I swear by the laws of heaven and earth that if the Senfu is on me, I will never be able to make any progress and my cultivation will be crippled. In this world, swearing by the laws of heaven and earth was effective. Ningshu was just taking advantage of a loophole. The Senfu really wasn't on her. Ningshu swore as soon as he came up, which stunned everyone. Yiyu's expression turned even uglier. The other party had used this trick to push the blame to him. Even if he could swear now, others might not necessarily believe him. Yiyu, who had always been smooth sailing, didn't expect that he would one day encounter such a situation. Yiyu, although Yen Jiao was straightforward, it didn't mean that she was stupid. Right now, everything Yiyu did was useless. Yen Jiao was so angry that tears fell from her eyes. She took the whip from her waist and rushed over, lashing out at Ningshu. I'll beat you to death, you vicious bitch. Ning Shu grabbed the whip that Yin Jiao threw at him and flung her away. Yin Jiao was thrown to the ground, but she wasn't injured. She got up from the ground and said to Yi Yu with tears in her eyes, "Senior brother Yi, no matter what, I believe you." Yi Yu gently wiped away the tears on Yin Jiao's face and comforted her. "These difficulties are temporary." Ning Shu looked at the two of them being lovey-dovey. He turned around and jumped onto the back of the Flash Wind Eagle. He said coldly to Yi Yu, "If you try to frame me again, I will beat you up." In fact, Ning Shu really wanted to kill Yi Yu, but in front of so many people from the Hongmen sect, he didn't have the advantage. Yi Yu looked at Ning Shu with gloomy and hateful eyes. "Today's humiliation, I'll pay you back 100 times over." Ning Shu patted his chest. "I'm so scared, just come and find me." Ning Shu stood on the back of the Flash Wind Eagle and looked down at Yi Yu. Sparks flew when their eyes met. After returning to the Heavenly Road sect, Ning Shu met Lu Qinyang, who was obviously waiting for him. Seeing Ning Shu, Lu Qinyang immediately said, "Junior brother Wei, are you interested in going out to train together? This time we're going to the Thunder Canyon. There are spirit fruits that can strengthen your body. Let's team up and go." Ning Shu wasn't interested at all. These people wanted to drag him to be their hired thug. Ning Shu waved his hand and said no, then went to cultivate. Lu Qinyang's face trembled. No matter how dissatisfied he was, he didn't dare to say it out loud. He could only look at Ning Shu's back and coldly snort in his heart. Ning Shu returned to his cave and continued to cultivate. Right now he wanted to cultivate his essence. His current body's aptitude was much better than before. His body had been transformed by the golden coiling dragon energy. Although it wasn't as amazing as Yi Yu's, it was still barely enough to be considered a genius. Ning Shu absorbed the essence crystals that Wei Ming gave her, and her cultivation level also rose rapidly. While she was still cultivating, Ning Shu felt that someone had touched an enchantment and stopped cultivating. When he came out of the room, he saw a female disciple with revealing clothes. She was holding snacks and tea in her hands. She was blocked by the barrier outside the room and stood awkwardly at the door. Seeing Ning Shu come out, the female disciple immediately smiled sweetly. She swayed her enchanting body and walked in front of Ning Shu. Ning Shu immediately smelled an elegant fragrance. As soon as he smelled this fragrance, Ning Shu felt his body become restless, and his lower abdomen became a little tight. Ning Shu fuck, there's a fucking reaction. Ning Shu really wanted to use a knife to castrate himself. The female disciple looked at Ning Shu's strange expression. She smiled charmingly and said to Ning Shu, "Senior brother Wei, you haven't come to find Lan for a long time. Have you forgotten about Lan?" This woman was here to seduce him. He guessed that it was because of Wei Liangyue in the past. But now she wanted Ning Shu to fuck off with this woman. Ning Shu very righteously rejected this female disciple's embrace. Moreover, he didn't give her any face and closed the door. This made the female flute player named Lan so angry that she almost smashed the snack tray. In the end, she could only leave in anger. These women all treated Wei Liangyue as a resource provider. They didn't want to do sect missions to obtain resources. Ning Shu didn't say anything about them taking such a crooked path. Everyone had their own way of living, but Ning Shu definitely wouldn't fuck off with these women. Ning Shu directly hung a cultivation do not disturb sign on his door. He focused on cultivation. There was nothing more important than strength. But during this time, something big happened. Yi Yu betrayed the Rainbow Gate sect and took away the daughter of the Rainbow Gate sect leader, little tigress Yin Jiao. When Ning Shu heard about this, he smacked his lips. That little pepper actually ran away with Yi Yu. She was originally a heavenly daughter, but now she had to wander with Yi Yu. Now that Yi Yu was carrying a treasure like the Senfu, he would be hunted down wherever he went. Moreover, the Rainbow Gate sect might even hunt down Yi Yu. Fuck, he actually kidnapped the sect leader's daughter. This was simply a great humiliation. In such a situation, Yin Jiao still followed Yi Yu. She was simply dead set on following him. Ning Shu was more puzzled about why Shihuidi didn't follow him. Yi Yu betraying the Rainbow Gate sect was within Ning Shu's expectations. Yi Yu didn't have the Senfu in his hands, but he was forced to hand it over by the Rainbow Gate sect. Moreover, Yi Yu was a man of his own. He never had any intention of sacrificing himself for the sect. As for how loyal he was to the Rainbow Gate sect, even Yi Yu himself wouldn't believe it. But if Yi Yu went out like this, who knew how many fortuitous encounters and treasures he would obtain? Even if Yi Yu was hunted down, he would still be able to turn misfortune into blessings. Every time he was forced into a desperate situation, he would still obtain a fortuitous encounter. Ning Shu felt that he should speed up his cultivation. Yi Yu would come back for revenge sooner or later. Old Man Wei came over and asked Ning Shu to follow him to see the sect leader. Ning Shu followed beside Old Man Wei and asked, "Why does the sect leader want to see me? Sherhuidi is here." Old Man Wei, Ning Shu raised his rough eyebrows. What does it have to do with me?" Ning Shu didn't understand. He and Sherhuidi no longer had any relationship. Old Man Wei's face was filled with joy. "You'll know later." Looking at Old Man Wei's rippling expression, Ning Shu felt that it wasn't a good thing. When they arrived at the main hall, there were several people sitting inside. Sherhuidi was standing behind a long-bearded man. Her expression was very indifferent. When she saw Ning Shu, she only glanced at him before withdrawing her gaze. Old Man Wei first led Ning Shu to bow to the sect. Then he introduced the person beside him to Ning Shu. "Cold Moon, this is sect leader Yen of the Rainbow Gate sect. You can call him Uncle Yen." "Old Man Wei," Ning Shu said. Ning Shu looked at the long-bearded man and thought, "This is Yen Jiao's father." Chapter 285. Ning Shu called out Uncle Yen to Sect Master Yen. Rainbow Sect Master Yen stroked his long beard and praised Old Man Wei. "I haven't seen Cold Moon for a while. Now that I look at him, he's quite a talent." Old Man Wei laughed, looking very proud. Ning Shu didn't think too much about it. But Old Man Wei seemed to have scratched an itch. He was very excited and had a feeling of exhilaration. "Wei Ming, let the two children out. We have something to discuss." Tiandao Sect's Grand Master said to Old Man Wei, "Huidi, let Cold Moon bring you around Tiandao Sect." The bearded Grand Master Yen turned around and instructed Sherhuidi. Sherhuidi's beautiful face under the veil was very cold. She bowed towards Grand Master Yen and said yes. "Stinky brat, you are a guest. Take good care of Huidi." Old Man Wei pushed Ning Shu in front of Sherhuidi. Ning Shu immediately stopped in his tracks. If he really bumped into Sherhuidi, Sherhuidi would die together with him. "I'll have to trouble senior apprentice brother," Sherhuidi said to Ning Shu coldly. Ning Shu was very surprised that Sherhuidi was still willing to talk to him. He thought that he had injured her in the secret realm, and they probably wouldn't interact for the rest of their lives. But now Grand Master Yin brought Sherhuidi to Tiandao Sect. Ning Shu felt that things were very strange. "Junior apprentice sister, follow me." Ning Shu ignored Old Man Wei's winking and took the lead to leave the hall. Sherhuidi hesitated for a moment before following Ning Shu out of the hall. Sherhuidi walked very slowly. Ning Shu had no choice but to slow down as well. Sherhuidi suddenly said, "Wei Liangyue, you must be very proud right now. Where did this come from? What am I proud of?" Ning Shu raised his eyebrows. He didn't understand what Sherhuidi was talking about. Sherhuidi stopped in her tracks and looked at Ning Shu with an incomparably cold gaze. "Previously, you broke off the engagement and humiliated me once, but I still delivered myself to your door to be humiliated by you. I really don't know what you're talking about. If my rejection of the engagement humiliated you, why didn't you propose it yourself?" Ning Shu said with a cold face. Ning Shu knew that Sherhuidi was a woman with a firm mind, but if she had to be so calculative about breaking off the engagement, Ning Shu couldn't do anything about it. In Ning Shu's opinion, breaking off the engagement would free both of them. Sherhuidi's face under the veil became even more unsightly. "Wei Liangyue, do you really not know, or are you pretending not to know? There's a problem with the crystal vein that the Rainbow Sect and the Heavenly Dao Sect cooperated with. What's wrong?" Ning Shu was really curious. She was a pure maiden who never left the house. She really didn't know what was going on. Sherhuidi looked at Ning Shu's expression and suddenly smiled bitterly. Her tone couldn't hide her sadness. "Every time we mine the crystals, there will be a lot less. The Rainbow Sect and the Heavenly Dao Sect suspect each other of hiding the crystals. Now the cooperation can no longer continue. Coupled with the matter of junior apprentice brother Yi, the Rainbow Sect can't afford any more twists and turns. Therefore, the cooperation between the Rainbow Sect and your Heavenly Dao Sect must continue. Our Heavenly Dao Sect needs a lot of resources. Ningxu suddenly realized that someone was stealing. In fact, Ningxu felt that this matter should be done by the Heavenly Dao Sect. Because the disciples of the Rainbow Sect had a senfu, the Heavenly Dao Sect was deliberately making things difficult for the Rainbow Sect. Most likely, this matter was done by Old Man Wei. Now the sect master of the Rainbow Sect had personally come to talk about cooperation, and even called Shihuidi. Ningxu looked at Shihuidi. What does your sect mean? Of course the cooperation will continue. Moreover, we have to express the sincerity of the two sections. Marriage is the best sincerity. Shihuidi's voice couldn't hide the sadness in it. So, was Shihuidi going to marry Wei Liangyue again? What a deceitful plot. It wasn't easy to break off the engagement, but now they were going to get engaged again. Ningxu could see that Shihuidi didn't want to get engaged with him. Forgive me for being blunt. Since you don't want to, why don't you say it? Ningxu asked Shihuidi. Shihuidi looked at Ningxu. Her eyes were very cold as she said indifferently, "Not everyone has a father like you who can let you be willful. I grew up in the Rainbow Sect. I'm not strong enough, so I can only listen to the arrangements of the sect and repay the sect. This is the sorrow of being a woman. I don't want to become a tool that can be manipulated by others." Shihuidi's eyes revealed a sorrowful expression. Ningxu was speechless. Ningxu curled his lips, but didn't say anything. What, you don't agree with what I said? Shihuidi looked at Ningxu's disapproving expression and asked coldly. Ningxu shrugged his shoulders. Since you don't want to be manipulated, why don't you leave the Rainbow Sect? Leaving the Rainbow Sect is easier said than done. I grew up in the Rainbow Sect, and the sect's kindness to me is as heavy as a mountain. Shihuidi's voice became even colder. Ningxu said indifferently, "If I were you, I would leave the Rainbow Sect. Since you don't want to be manipulated, you must live a more bitter life. You must make your own way. This is the exchange of conditions. You can't bear to part with the Rainbow Sect's rich resources and the Rainbow Sect's status. The Rainbow Sect has given you so much, so you naturally have to sacrifice for the Rainbow Sect. Everything has a price and nothing is perfect." Ningxu was a little tired. Perhaps in the plot, Shihuidi didn't love Yiyu that much. When Yiyu came to steal the bride, Shihuidi weighed the pros and cons before choosing Yiyu. To put it bluntly, Shihuidi was a person who liked to suffer, as if she had suffered a great deal. "Don't worry, I won't be engaged to you," Ningxu said indifferently as he brushed past Shihuidi. Shihuidi just stared blankly at Ningxu's back. She lost control and said, "You don't know how much your father dotes on you. You don't know what kind of life I'm living." Ningxu left without looking back. Old Man Wei came to ask if Ningxu wanted to be engaged to Shihuidi. Ningxu decisively refused. She didn't want to be engaged to Shihuidi. As for what would happen to Wei Liangyue and Shihuidi after she left, she didn't care. Ningxu told Old Man Wei that he wanted to go out and gain experience. When Old Man Wei heard that his son wanted to go out and gain experience, he was both gratified and worried. He didn't want him to go out, but then he thought that if he didn't let him go out, he would be like this for the rest of his life. He couldn't not go out and see the world. Ningxu was the one who wanted to go out and gain experience. It was useless to stay at home and cultivate like this. She decided to join the large group that was chasing after Yiyu. Old Man Wei finally agreed to let Ningxu go out and gain experience. Ningxu asked Old Man Wei, "How did you settle the Rainbow Gate sect matter?" Old Man Wei curled his lips. Old Man Yin really doesn't have any sincerity. Every time he sends a woman over, we have a lot of people in the Heavenly Dao sect. Who cares about your people? You don't have to worry about this matter. Go and gain experience. Your father will take care of it. Will it cause trouble for you? Ningxu said uncertainly. After all, this was a matter between two sections. It's fine. Your father can handle it. Chapter 286. Ningxu finally saw how much Old Man Wei doted on his son. If he wanted to break off the engagement, he would break off the engagement. If he wanted to break off the engagement, he would break off the engagement. Just like Shi Huidi said, Wei Liangyue had a father who allowed him to do whatever he wanted. Once his father died, Wei Liangyue would have to suffer twice as much for the first half of his life. Old man Wei had prepared a lot of things for Ning Shu since his son was going to go out for training, including the things that Ning Shu had prepared for himself. There were a total of 2 storage pouches. During this period of cultivation, Ning Shu's strength had also increased a lot. Under her feeding, the flash wind eagle had become very large. When it spread its wings, it was almost as wide as a room. Old man Wei sent Ning Shu to the sect's entrance. After exiting the mountain protecting array, he reached out and patted Ning Shu's hand. Come back alive. Father will wait for you at the sect. Father, don't worry. I will live until you die, Ning Shu said while gritting his teeth. Stinking brat. Old man Wei patted Ning Shu's head and reminded him repeatedly. When you go out, be more careful. If you meet anyone who has evil intentions, kill them directly. Don't think of being a hero who saves a beauty. Don't bully the elderly and children. Yes, the elderly might be experts who have reached the large success stage. The little brats outside might be the descendants of experts. If you don't pay attention, you will attract trouble. I understand, father. Ning Shu released the flash wind eagle and jumped on its back. He said to old man Wei, Father, let's go back. I'm leaving. The flash wind eagle flapped its wings and flew into the air at an extremely fast speed. Ning Shu turned around and saw that old man Wei was still standing in the same spot, shrinking into a small black dot. Ning Shu turned around and sat on the back of the flash wind eagle. He was thinking about where to find Yi Yu. He would eventually meet Yi Yu, who was being chased by many people. If he wanted to get Yi Yu's senfu, he would only need to spend some crystals to get clues about Yi Yu. Seeing a small town in the distance, Ning Shu patted the back of the flash wind eagle and had it descend. When they arrived at the entrance of the town, Ning Shu put away the flash wind eagle and walked into the town's restaurant. He thought that it would be easy to get information in a place like this where people from all walks of life would gather. Ning Shu ordered some food. As he ate, he paid attention to the conversations of the people around him. These bloodthirsty cultivators were either talking about women or treasures. However, no one was talking about Yi Yu. The world was so big, where was she going to find him? At this time, a person at the table next to Ning Shu suddenly whispered, Do you know the Hongmen sect's defector Yi Yu? With such a heaven-defying treasure like the Senfu, even the Rainbow sect has sent people to kill Yi Yu. Isn't this old news? I heard a while ago that Yi Yu appeared in Aou Valley and took away all the divine beasts in Aou Valley. Another person said, I know. I also heard that Yi Yu obtained a divine weapon. It's very powerful. A person hurriedly said, Ning Shu. He felt that Yi Yu's existence was like a locust. Wherever he went, not even a blade of grass would grow. All the good things were taken away. Ning Shu went over and asked the people, Brothers, do you know where Yi Yu is right now? The 4 people looked at Ning Shu warily. Seeing that Ning Shu was wearing coarse linen clothes, they coldly said, Brat, you dare to eavesdrop on us. It's a misunderstanding. I didn't want to eavesdrop on you big brothers. I'll buy a pot of wine to apologize. Ning Shu asked the waiter to give them a pot of wine. This time, the 4 big men's faces looked better. I won't hide it from you big brothers. I also want to find Yi Yu to try my luck, Ning Shu said with longing. Yi Yu has a lot of treasures in his hands. The few big men looked at Ning Shu's appearance and suddenly looked at him with disdain. With you like this, I'm afraid Yi Yu's sword will be a dead soul. Yi Yu is very ruthless. So many people went to kill him, but the pursuers all died. He's very evil. Don't go to your death. It's okay. I'm just going to take a look. If Yi Yu is really too strong, I won't run into him. I'll just run, Ning Shu said. Ning Shu pretended to be pained and ordered a dish for the 4 big men. One of them told Ning Shu that Yi Yu might be going to Sand City. Ning Shu bought a map. Sand City was the territory of the blood refining sect. Could it be that Yi Yu went to find Yu-11? He remembered that Yu-11 was the chief disciple of the blood refining sect. Finally, Ning Shu decided to go to Sand City. He left the town and jumped on the back of the Flash Wind Eagle and went in the direction of Sand City. It took him 5 days to reach Sand City. Moreover, the speed of the Flash Wind Eagle was very fast, but it still took him such a long time. He felt that Yi Yu was very good at running, but he didn't know if little tigress Yin Jiao, who was following Yi Yu, could bear it. Putting the Flash Wind Eagle into the Spirit Beast bag, Ning Shu walked into Sand City. He felt that Sand City was different from other places. Every person who passed by him had a thick smell of blood. He didn't know if it was the blood of a spirit beast or a human. Moreover, these people's eyes were very evil. In short, with one look, he knew that they were not good people. Sure enough, the blood refining sect should be some kind of devil sect. Ning Shu was extorted a few crystals by the blood refining sect's disciple, who was guarding the city gate. He then gave her a wooden tablet. With this wooden tablet, she could get a 20% discount the next time she entered the city. Ning Shu was speechless. So evil. Every time she entered the city, she had to pay a fee. Putting away the wooden tablet, she entered Sand City. Ning Shu first found an inn and was extorted 10 crystals. Ning Shu suspected that he had entered a bandit's lair. The blood refining sect was really evil. However, Ning Shu had a lot of crystals. She was here to find Yi Yu, so she didn't care about these trivial things. Ning Shu ordered a few expensive dishes, but she still couldn't fill her stomach. However, from the corner of her eyes, she saw 2 familiar figures. Ning Shu threw a few crystals on the table and chased after them. Hey, the 2 people in front, stop for this young master. Yi Yu was originally shopping with Yu Wenwen when he heard a familiar voice. When Yi Yu heard this voice, he almost thought that he was hallucinating. When he turned around and saw the dusty Ning Shu, his eyes turned red. Wei Liangyue, you really rushed to your death. Yu Wenwen looked at Ning Shu and smiled. However, there was a bone-deep viciousness and excitement in her eyes. Clearly, she was recalling the scene in the secret realm, where she was beaten up badly by Ning Shu. Welcome Heavenly Dao Sect's disciple to my blood refining sect's Sand City. As the host, I Yu Wenwen will definitely treat you well. Yu Wenwen smiled at Ning Shu. Her beautiful face was like a blooming rose, filled with malice. Ning Shu didn't care about Yu Wenwen's threat. Instead, he looked at the sneering Yi Yu and asked, little tigress isn't with you? Did you kill her? Yin Jiao was following Yi Yu. Even if Yi Yu betrayed the Rainbow Gate sect, Yin Jiao still followed Yi Yu wholeheartedly. She didn't care about her sect head father's situation in the Rainbow Gate sect, and was so willful. However, Yin Jiao wasn't with Yi Yu. Instead, Yu Wenwen was with Yi Yu. Chapter 287. Yi Yu was a very affectionate person. When he wanted a woman, he would treat her exceptionally well. Coupled with his powerful cultivation talent and handsome face, it was very difficult for women to resist him. Ning Shu didn't see Yin Jiao and little Hunyao. She instantly thought that Yi Yu was tired of little Hunyao and had abandoned her. Yi Yu saw that Ning Shu mentioned Yin Jiao the moment they met and was instantly infuriated. He said coldly, Yin Jiao is my woman. Why are you asking about her? Ning Shu said indifferently, I just can't stand seeing you fuck every woman you see. Can't you have some moral integrity? Haha, Wei Liangyue, don't joke around. Who knows how many women you have fucked? You actually dare to lecture me? I am different from you. Yi Yu said coldly with a look of disdain. Ning Shu stared and asked doubtfully, what's the difference? The ultimate goal isn't to fuck with women. You use the name of love to make them fuck with you willingly. Yi Yu was speechless. Faced with Ning Shu's words, Yi Yu strangely didn't know how to refute. He clenched his fist and said coldly, let me see if you have made any progress during this time. Ning Shu had long wanted to fight with Yi Yu. Know thyself and know thy enemy to be victorious in 100 battles. She wanted to see how powerful Yi Yu was now. Ning Shu and Yi Yu made their moves at the same time. First, they fought in close combat. Yi Yu realized that Wei Liangyue's physical strength had increased by a lot. Now, even he couldn't withstand it. Yi Yu retreated 2 feet and circulated his essence qi to attack Ning Shu. Ning Shu formed an essence qi shield in front of her and blocked Yi Yu's attack. When the essence qi hit the shield, Ning Shu suddenly felt the qi and blood in her chest become restless. She almost vomited blood. Sure enough, in terms of cultivation, she was still no match for Yiyu. Her cultivation talent was no match for Yiyu's. The two of you, this is Sand City. Fighting is forbidden in the city. Are the disciples of Tiandao sect trying to provoke our blood-refining sect? Yu Wenwen said coldly. Ningxu spat, adulterer. Yu Wenwen was so angry that his face trembled. In the end, Yi looked coldly at Ningxu and pulled Yu Wenwen away. Ningxu coughed to catch his breath and prepared to return to the inn. She turned around and saw Yin Jiao standing not too far away, looking at her. To be precise, she was looking at the backs of Yiyu and Yu Wenwen. Seeing Ningxu staring at her, Yin Jiao bit her lips. In the end, it was Ningxu who walked over. The moment Yin Jiao walked over, Ningxu discovered that Yin Jiao's face was pale, and her eyebrows were filled with exhaustion. From the looks of it, her days with Yiyu were not good. Ningxu said sarcastically. Seeing your man with another woman, aren't you angry? Do you even have a bit of temper? Yin Jiao's eyes turned red. She bit her lips tightly to prevent herself from crying. Hearing Ningxu's words, Yin Jiao felt wronged. She had no one to rely on here. Even if the person in front of her was a big pervert she hated, Yin Jiao still wanted to talk to him. Why are you crying? This is your own choice. You have to finish the path you chose even if you have to kneel. Ningxu was not polite at all. Yin Jiao defended Yiyu with a pale face, as if she was trying to convince herself. Senior brother Yi is a good person. It is normal for so many girls to like him. Senior brother Yi is very good to me. He even gave me cultivation resources to use. If he is good to you, then why are you crying? Ningxu looked at the little tigress. She was really capricious. If this girl was his child, he would definitely beat her to death. Big pervert, how is Hongmen sect? Yin Jiao asked Ningxu. Ningxu rolled his eyes and said, your father has become a laughingstock. His daughter ran away with a traitor disciple. There are problems with the cooperation between Heavenly Dao sect and Hongmen sect. Your father brought your senior sister and wanted to marry her to me. Before, Yin Jiao was holding back her tears. But after hearing Ningxu's words, she burst into tears. She cried until her voice was hoarse, and many people on the street looked at her. What are you crying for? Since you did it, then you have to bear the consequences. You just left, and left others to clean up your mess. Ningxu didn't know what to say to such a brainless person. In the end, she was still young. Love was the most important thing. Ningxu felt that after going through so many worlds, she had become more rational and wise. She was able to consider things more comprehensively. If you want to go back, you can. Ningxu said. Who didn't meet one or two scumbags when they were young? Yin Jiao shook her head. Her expression was dejected and said, I can't go back. If I go back, others will laugh at my father. Moreover, I don't want to face other people's eyes. Ningxu nodded. What Yin Jiao said was the truth. There was no turning back. Right now, Yin Jiao could only follow Yiyu. You and Yiyu have done the deed of husband and wife? Yin Jiao's face turned red. Ningxu felt that the two should have done the deed of husband and wife. Yin Jiao immediately said, I am already 2 months pregnant. Ningxu, what the fuck? Others only saw that Yiyu was favored by all kinds of women, but they didn't see the tears of blood that flowed down the backs of many women. Ningxu didn't know what to say. She was pregnant, and her man was shopping with another woman in an ambiguous manner. How terrible and hopeless was that? Love was a matter between a man and a woman. How could so many people be caught in the middle? If he took in all the people who loved him, would it be fair to the others? So what if he was fickle in love? It was really disgusting. Go back and take care of the baby. The streets are not safe. If Yiyu sees you with me, he will give you a hard time. Ningxu said indifferently. Yiyu was an extremely domineering man. He couldn't tolerate any betrayal. He was very controlling. As long as it was something that belonged to him, he would have absolute control over it. It was the same for women. Yin Jiao looked at Ningxu and asked, You and senior sister? If you are worried about Sherhuidi, don't worry. I will not marry Sherhuidi. I will not force a woman. Ningxu curled his lips. Yin Jiao pursed her lips. Ningxu said, Wei Liangyue. After hesitating for a moment, Yin Jiao finally said. You are a good person. Thank you. Ning Shu turned and left. She wasn't very familiar with Yin Jiao. She and Yi Yu were on opposite sides. In fact, she was also on opposite sides with Yin Jiao. Ning Shu returned to the inn and sat cross-legged on the bed to cultivate. The current Yi Yu was much stronger than before. He hadn't used many trump cards, such as divine weapons and divine beasts. The combination of these could kill in seconds. Ning Shu took out a fingernail-sized spirit marrow crystal from his storage bag and swallowed it. The spirit energy was absorbed by the energy in his dantian. The newly condensed golden coiling dragon energy strengthened Ning Shu's body. Ning Shu's body was very strong now. Even if he used a knife, it would only leave a white mark on his skin. It wouldn't cut through his skin. Ning Shu liked the process of constantly becoming stronger, and she felt very satisfied. Chapter 288. Ning Shu was now at odds with Yi Yu. She wanted to kill Yi Yu when she had nothing to do. However, the strength of the two was almost the same. Even if she used all her trump cards, she might not necessarily win. Yi Yu was annoyed to death by Ning Shu. This person was like a mad dog chasing after him. Moreover, he was very fierce during the battle. It seemed like he wanted to kill him no matter what. Moreover, no matter where he went, this person would follow him. This made Yi Yu very annoyed. Yi Yu wanted to kill him, but this person was not weak. Moreover, he was very slippery. When he saw that the situation was not good, he would run away. Not long after, he would appear again. In the battle with Yi Yu again and again, Ning Shu felt that her strength was increasing very quickly. She loved to find Yi Yu more and more. Who knows if she would be lucky enough to kill Yi Yu. Ning Shu wanted to kill this guy very much. However, Yi Yu now had Yu Wenwen, a woman who was not weak. Moreover, this was Yu Wenwen's territory. Ning Shu was very afraid that Yu Wenwen would bring a swarm of experts from the blood refining sect to kill her. Every time the male lead had some opportunity, Ning Shu would follow behind him and destroy Yi Yu's treasures. Moreover, she also obtained a lot of good things. Yi Yu's strength increased rapidly. However, Ning Shu's strength was not weak either. No one could do anything to each other. Speaking of which, Ning Shu felt that she had been in this world for a long time. She thought that she had almost changed the fate of the original owner. Moreover, Old Man Wei was still alive. The original owner's strength had also become stronger. After Yi Yu's strength became very strong, he wanted to go back and take revenge. Those sects that had hunted him before, Yi Yu would not let any of them go. Yi Yu's time as a fugitive was his dark history. Now, he was going to erase this dark history. Ning Shu saw that Yi Yu was so cruel and merciless that he destroyed a small sect around Sand City. The territory of the small sect was naturally taken over by the blood refining hall. Not every disciple had tried to kill Yi Yu before. However, Yi Yu had killed all of them. What right did such a vicious and ruthless person have to receive the blessings of the heavens? What right did he have to possess such great fortune? He had given him such great power, just to kill those who couldn't resist in his heart. These innocent people who had died were filled with resentment. This was a form of damage to the laws of the plane. Ning Shu saw the dark and gloomy plane that was riddled with holes. It was in pain as it slowly walked towards destruction. Every time Yi Yu wanted to go to other sects to collect debts, Ning Shu would go against Yi Yu and help these sects to resist Yi Yu. Yi Yu was simply not tired of Ning Shu. He directly let his newly evolved phoenix divine beast burn her to death. Little Fire, who had drilled out of the spirit beast pouch, turned into a little girl. She was as beautiful as a little fairy. However, she was spitting out hot flames from her mouth. Ning Shu's clothes were accidentally stained with a spark. However, it was just a small spark that caused Ning Shu's clothes to burn. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't extinguish the fire. Ning Shu was ruthless. He directly tore off his clothes. He didn't even leave behind a pair of underwear. He jumped naked on the back of the Flash Wind Eagle and fled. Master, look, I scared him away. The Phoenix Divine Beast clapped its white and tender hands and jumped towards Yi Yu as it shouted. Ning Shu saw that the fire bird didn't chase after him. He let out a sigh of relief. He took out clothes from his storage pouch and put them on. He felt a chill in his crotch. Ning Shu directly returned to the Heavenly Tao sect. He told Old Man Wei about Yiyu. He felt that Yiyu would definitely come to the Heavenly Tao sect. He might even go to the Rainbow sect. After all, the Rainbow sect had forced him. The reason for coming to the Heavenly Tao sect was simple. It was because of her. Yiyu had the blood refining sect behind him. The blood refining sect supported Yiyu. The territories that Yiyu conquered were all taken over by the blood refining sect. It was simply a chaotic battle between sections. When Old Man Wei heard Ning Shu's words, he frowned tightly. He brought this news to the upper echelons of the sect to discuss countermeasures. Yiyu was like a bulldozer crushing over. Many small sects were absorbed by Yiyu. If they didn't agree, they could only exterminate their sections. The blood refining sect's power suddenly became very strong. It made the other sects fearful. They joined forces to deal with the blood refining sect. Ning Shu felt that Yiyu wanted to unify the Jianghu and become the master of this plane. Ning Shu cultivated while inquiring about Yiyu's situation. The current Yiyu had been labeled as an evil demon by various sections. He was a homicidal maniac. Yiyu was actually not righteous. The struggle between the blood refining sect and various sects was intertwined. Ning Shu felt that Yiyu was being used by Yu11. The blood refining sect used Yiyu to become strong. He estimated that Yiyu was not so stupid. He must be benefiting from the blood refining sect. It was just that little tigress suffered. Her man was going to beat her father. For some reason, the battle between the two sides became more and more intense. More and more people died. The more the two sides fought, the more energetic they became. They simply couldn't stop. Even the experts of the Heavenly Tao sect were dispatched. It was simply a massacre. Ning Shu was simply dumbfounded. How did things develop to this point? The two sides could sit down and talk calmly. Generally speaking, as long as there is a large-scale unpredictable war, it is the law of heaven and earth that pushes the previous law to establish a new law of heaven and earth. Perhaps the Heavenly Tao felt threatened by something, so it wants to overturn the previous law. This is the law's self-protection. 2333 said Ning Shu. Ning Shu was speechless. It was like a house being repaired. If it didn't work, it would be pushed down again. It sounded so cruel. Many people would die. Heaven and earth were heartless and treated all living things like straw dogs. However, by sacrificing these, countless living things in this plane would be saved. The smallest sacrifice in exchange for the survival of more lives. Is it because of me that the law of heaven and earth thinks that I am a virus and wants to destroy me? Ning Shu said with a guilty conscience. You think too highly of yourself. 2333's voice was filled with disdain. People like you who basically have no luck. And even the heavens have given up on you will not notice you at all. Moreover, some people with luck have done things that exceed the law's limits and harm the plane. The law will either set things right or completely overturn them. When he heard that it was not his fault, Ning Shu felt very complicated. He was trembling in fear, and in the end, the other party did not even care about him. His face was burning. The cancer of embarrassment was acting up. Mission completed. Leave the mission world. 2333 said. Ning Shu was surprised. Even if the mission is completed, the two sides are evenly matched. Now is the time for the Heavenly Tao to rebuild the law. Everyone's fate is unpredictable. In the future, Wei Liangyue's fate will depend on himself. You have already helped him escape from his previous fate. You have already stayed in this plane for a long time. Your soul will not be able to take it. 2333 said calmly. Ning Shu nodded. Leave the world. As soon as he said that, Ning Shu's head buzzed. When he opened his eyes again, he was already in the system space. Chapter 289. Once back in the system, Ning Shu looked down at her soul. As expected, it was dim and damaged. She quickly sat down and absorbed the materials in the system to strengthen her soul. When Ning Shu could no longer absorb the materials in the system, she stopped and asked 2333, "What did I absorb?" She had always wanted to ask this question. It seemed to be different from spirit energy. You said you absorbed it. It's actually chaos spirit energy. 2333 said. Primal chaos spiritual chi sounded awesome. Ning Shu didn't understand it. But it was good enough as long as it was good for her. Let's look at my points, Ning Shu said. The points this time should be enough to open the system store. Number 23333 name. Ning Shu age, 27 experience. 14000010000 soul. 200 HP. 50 wisdom. 85 charm. 3 luck. 34 spirit. 120 martial strength. 10 aptitude. 26 merit. 510 skills. 5th ring spear technique. Trash fighting technique. Beginner in martial arts honorary title. Goddess of War aura. Mother of the world, Queen's blessing. Wei Liangyu's quest completed. Quest completion 100. Obtain 10 attribute points. Ning Shu saw that he had 100,000 points this time. In addition to the 140,000 points from before, he could open the system store. I already have over 200,000 points. Let's open the system shop, Ning Shu said excitedly to 2333. 2333 said, "You can only open the beginner system store now." "Okay, I know. Go ahead. Wait a moment. The system will update now," 2333 said, and then went silent. It had been a long time since he appeared. Ning Shu sat on the ground and waited. He couldn't help but call out, 2333, are you done? "Okay, you can open the system store now," 2333 said. Ning Shu immediately opened the system store. Suddenly there were all kinds of things. All kinds of pills, all kinds of secret manuals, all kinds of auras, and all kinds of weapons. There were even aircraft carriers, divine weapons, and divine beasts. Just the beginner system store had so many things. What about the advanced system store? It was simply unimaginable. When Ning Shu saw that a fist-sized chaos stone cost 2 million points, she felt as though a hole had been torn in her heart. She was bleeding profusely. 2333 had stolen a chaos stone that required 2 million points to exchange for. Ning Shu hammered his chest. His heart was in pain. Opening his bag, he found a pitch-black soul orb and a few lonely spirit marrow crystals. Needless to say, it looked extremely shabby. Ning Shu felt his liver hurt when he saw that these things were easily worth tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of points. He realized that he was a poor bastard. The thing that hurt him the most was the chaos stone that 2333 had stolen. Ning Shu looked at the secret manuals. These secret manuals were very expensive. Ning Shu thought about it and decided not to exchange for them. He would just use the ultimate martial art. After all, he had feelings for it. He felt that his secret manual was very powerful. 2333 said, "Although you have opened the system store, there are some things that I must make clear to you. First, the items in the system store cannot exceed the restrictions of the plane. For example, you cannot exchange for aircraft carriers in the ancient world. Of course, you cannot afford it. Second, players cannot use more than 2 items from the system store in each world. In other words, you can only use 1 item. This is to prevent players from using the system store to destroy the plane. You are there to repair and maintain the plane, not to destroy it. Do you understand?" 2333 asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu nodded and said, "It means that there will be restrictions on the items in the system store. Also, I suggest that you add more attribute points to your health points." 2333 suggested, "You will encounter higher level cultivation worlds in the future. In these worlds, you will be in seclusion for dozens of years. Your health points are only 50 points. If your health points are depleted in the quest world, you will be finished. Don't always add attribute points to your martial art. You must develop in all aspects, understand?" Ning Shu listened to 2333's advice and nodded. "I understand. This time, I will add all attribute points to my health points." 2333. Previously, he was obsessed with his martial art. Now he was obsessed with his health points. Ning Shu really added all his attribute points to his health points. Number 23333 name. Ning Shu age, 27 experience, 40,000 soul, 200 health points, 5010 wisdom, 85 charm, 3 luck, 34 spirit, 120 martial art, 10 aptitude, 26 merit, 510 skills, 5 ring spear technique, trash close combat technique, ultimate martial art new honorary title, Goddess of War aura, Mother of the world, Queen's blessing. Ning Shu saw that his points were basically gone, and his heart was broken. However, Ning Shu noticed that there were 10 merit points this time. He asked 2333, where did these 10 merit points come from? Who knows? I don't know where they come from either. These things are not calculated the same way as the points. 2333 said. Do you want to enter the mission world now? 2333 asked. Ning Shu waved his hand. No, I'm too tired. I need to rest. Oh right, what world will my next mission be? Ning Shu opened the exchange shop and browsed. Looking at the items on the shop, he felt his heart itch. He really wanted to chop off his hands, but he didn't have any points. Your next world is the modern world. 2333 said. Hearing that it was the modern world, Ning Shu could exchange for a female gun, and it only cost 5,000 points. With the bullets, it was a total of 8,000 points. Ning Shu was very tempted, so he clicked on the exchange. Ning Shu clicked once, but there was no reaction. He clicked again, but there was still no reaction. Why can't I exchange for it? 23333, what's going on? Why can't I exchange for it? Ning Shu used his finger to poke at the attribute panel desperately. 2333 explained. The world you're going to is a peaceful world. There's no need for guns at all. The system shop won't exchange for it. Damn, this can't be exchanged, that can't be exchanged. What's the point of her opening the shop? Sure enough, she still had to rely on herself for everything. These external things were unreliable. Ning Shu laughed coldly and sat on the ground taking deep breaths. When you go to the high-level world to do missions in the future, there will be a lot of resources. When the time comes, you can collect them yourself. The system shop is like this. There are restrictions for everyone, not just for you. 2333 comforted Ning Shu. Why haven't I met a mission enforcer until now? Can't a world accommodate 2 mission enforcers? Ning Shu asked 2333. 2333 said. Actually, there are many mission enforcers. Some have an accident during the mission and completely disappeared. There are so many worlds, the chances of meeting one are relatively small. But you can meet one in the high-level world. High-level mission enforcers don't like to do missions in low-level worlds. You're now in a low-level world. You're on the edge. You can't enter that circle. 2333 encouraged Ning Shu. Do it, Dad. Ning Shu. Chapter 290. Ning Shu browsed through the exchange store. Seeing that he couldn't exchange for anything, Ning Shu simply closed the store. He was too lazy to look at it, but his heart was restless. Ning Shu wanted to sleep before doing the quest. Although he was now a soul and didn't need to sleep at all, this habit had always been there. He wanted to use sleep to reduce pressure. He lay on the ground and prepared to sleep. This feeling of lying on the ground was not good. Ning Shu sat up and asked, "Is there something like a bed? I want to sleep." Yes, this kind of thing is available in the system store. You can exchange for it. 2333 said. When Ning Shu heard that there really was such a thing, he quickly opened the exchange store. Finally, he found the furniture button in a corner. No wonder he couldn't see it before. Ning Shu clicked on the furniture page and saw a variety of furniture. There were many styles, but the points required were very few. The most was 20 points. Not only was there furniture, but there were also all kinds of electrical appliances or sports equipment. There were all kinds of bouquets and potted plants. It was simply everything. There were also some luxury goods, jewelry, bags, clothes, shoes, and things that women would go crazy for. Most importantly, they were very cheap. But obviously, these were the most worthless things in the exchange store. Ning Shu sold a lot of things in one go. The bed, the furniture, and the potted plants. All kinds of small things added up to no more than 200 points. But the feeling of buying things was very good. He felt like he had become a tycoon. After exchanging, the item appeared in the system space in a short while. Ning Shu didn't know how it appeared. Even the courier didn't want it. It felt so magical. Ning Shu was busy for a while putting everything in place. The white space finally had some life. It felt a little like home. The fresh and pleasant potted flowers with bright dew on them, the light green sofa, and the white carpet. For the first time, Ning Shu felt that the system store was his home. Ning Shu lay on the bed. Even his soul could feel that the soft quilt was very comfortable. Lying on the bed, he fell into a deep sleep. After sleeping for an unknown period of time, Ning Shu woke up feeling refreshed. His entire body was relaxed, and his spirit had settled down. He had decided that he would take a good rest every time he completed a mission in the future. If he didn't learn to relax, he would have a mental breakdown sooner or later. Moreover, according to 2333, she was just a low-level quest taker. She was the kind that lived in a precarious state. If she died during the mission, she would disappear completely. For the sake of her own life, she had to work hard. 2333, let's go do the quest, Ning Shu said. Ding! Attention player, you have entered the quest world. As soon as 2333's voice fell, Ning Shu felt a wave of dizziness. After his soul merged with his body, Ning Shu immediately felt uncomfortable all over. He felt very heavy, dizzy and weak, and his throat was extremely swollen and painful. Ning Shu struggled to open his glue-like eyelids, and saw that he was sleeping on the bed with some medicine on the bedside table. The original owner must have caught a bad cold. Ning Shu took the medicine, read the instructions, mixed it with cold water and swallowed it. After taking the medicine, Ning Shu covered her head and fell asleep. She didn't want to think about anything now. She was very dizzy, and felt like she was going to vomit if she moved. It was very uncomfortable. When she woke up again, it was already dark. She was sweating all over. After taking the medicine, she felt a little better. She touched the bathroom and washed herself. After taking the medicine, she lay down and received the storyline. The original owner was called Chunxi. She was an agent in the Ocean Waves Media Company. She had several artists under her management. These artists were all new to the company this year. Chunxi had one or two half-popular artists, but most of them were newcomers. An agent's job was the most stressful. Not only did they have to make money for the company and improve their own performance, but they also had to worry about many other things, such as planning the future of the artists under their management, and choosing accessories for the artists under their management when they attended public events. Not only that, they also had to mediate the conflicts and fights between their artists. This was one of the most tiring, most troublesome, and most trivial jobs. One of Chunxi's underlings was a girl called Mador. She was a newcomer this year. Her looks were pure and charming. Chunxi felt that if this girl kept her pure temperament, she would be able to make a name for herself in the entertainment industry. With the intention of promoting her, Chunxi took Madol to a few dinner parties. These dinner parties were all big shots in the entertainment industry, or very famous directors and producers. If she could make some connections with these people, it would be good for Madol's future. The entertainment industry looked very bright on the surface, but there were some dark secrets behind it. If you wanted to make a name for yourself, you not only had to have the ability, but also had to have the opportunity to be promoted. That day, Chunxi took two girls with her. In addition to Madol, there was also a girl called Xiaoyi. Xiaoyi was also an outstanding newcomer. Madol was not very interested in these kinds of occasions. She always caused some small trouble. For example, some men wanted to take advantage of Madol. Madol's reaction was relatively big, making the scene cold. It was always Chunxi who came out to solve the problem. Now, Chunxi had a bad cold because Madol had angered the CEO of Mo's entertainment group, Mojave, at the dinner party yesterday. The reason was that Madol had spilled wine on the male lead Mojave. Chunxi pulled Madol to stand in the rain next to Mojave's car to apologize. Madol was unwilling to apologize to Mojave. Although Madol had apologized, Chunxi felt that Madol was not suitable for the entertainment industry. This kind of EQ was simply cannon fodder in the entertainment industry. Madol felt that she had the ability. As long as she was willing to work hard, she would definitely become a qualified actress. She could become a movie queen. When Madol entered the entertainment industry, she set a goal for herself, and that was to become a movie queen. Every time she was taken to such a dinner party by her agent, Madol's heart was very uncomfortable. She was here to act, not to drink and eat with people. Moreover, these men were very disgusting. Madol, who had just entered the entertainment industry, was very arrogant and had a strong mentality. She felt that she could succeed without relying on these crooked ways. Because of this, Chunshi rarely took Maidol, but in order to ensure a certain degree of fairness, Chunshi occasionally took Maidol to banquets. However, at one banquet, Maidol got involved with the CEO of Mo's entertainment group, Mojave. The reason was that Mojave fell into the trap. In the entertainment industry, Mojave was the man that every female star wanted to sleep with. He was handsome and rich, and he could do whatever he wanted in the entertainment industry. As long as Mojave promoted her a little, she would be waiting to become famous. 24K pure gold. Many female stars wanted to climb into Mojave's bed by hook or by crook. Chapter 291. After Mojave realized that he had been tricked, he immediately went out of the banquet hall and jumped into the swimming pool not far away. It wasn't that Mojave was loyal, but Mojave hated being tricked like this. In the entertainment industry, he had seen everything. It was incomparably dirty. Mojave simply looked down on such a woman, let alone with such a woman, especially under the influence of Chinese medicine. Maidol didn't like this kind of occasion, so she went out of the banquet hall and enjoyed the evening breeze beside the swimming pool. When she heard a splash, she jumped in to save someone. She insisted on getting Mojave, who was under the influence of Chinese medicine, up. Mojave was already having a hard time holding it in. Now that there was a woman's body close to him, he suddenly felt like he couldn't hold it in anymore. Then he smelled the clean scent of Maidol's body, which didn't have the strong perfume of other female stars. Mojave wasn't a person who would let himself suffer. He directly picked up Maidol and went to the small forest beside the swimming pool and made love with Maidol. Maidol was in despair. She originally went to save someone, but it developed into the story of the farmer and the snake. She was actually raped. After that, Mojave felt that this woman was very clean and very inexperienced. After pulling up his pants, he wrote a big check for Maidol. Maidol immediately felt insulted. She tore the check and ran away. Maidol kept this matter a secret. She didn't tell anyone. Even Chunshi, her agent, didn't know about it. Mojave felt that this woman was putting on an act. Sooner or later, she would come back to him. Every woman who got close to him had their own thoughts. They were just playing hard to get. Women who entered the entertainment industry didn't all want to be famous. However, Maidol really didn't go to him. Mojave sent someone to investigate Maidol. Seeing that Maidol was so miserable and always playing minor roles, Mojave felt that this woman had at least been in his bed before. So he conveniently helped Maidol. From then on, Maidol began to get lucky. Moreover, she received some more important roles without going through Chunshi, her agent. Mojave secretly paid attention to Maidol. He found that Maidol was really different from the women in the entertainment industry. She was clean and pure, and gradually revealed her beauty. Coupled with the aftertaste of Maidol, Mojave decided to maintain a relationship with Maidol. The two gradually became entangled. Mojave always forced Maidol to have sex with him. He liked Maidol's body. Mojave also threatened Maidol. If she didn't agree, he would tell others that she was raped. Maidol was angered to death by Mojave's shamelessness. She could only obey Mojave. Although Mo and might always force my duo to do things, he was really good to her. He even quietly let her play more and more important roles. Whenever she encountered any difficulties, Mo would solve them. My duo was in the limelight all the way and finally became the best actress. She also gained a beautiful relationship. She was a winner in life. Mojave doted on his wife all the way, making others envious. All kinds of public displays of affection were simply blinding. It was reasonable to say that Maidol's popularity would make Chunshi, her agent, proud. However, this was not the case. Maidol was very dissatisfied with her agent. It could be said that she hated her agent because she always let her artists go astray. Maidol hated this the most. In addition, Chunshi was very cold to Maidol, which made Maidol feel that Chunshi was unprincipled and unfair. Maidol just casually complained to Mojave about Chunshi, saying that Chunshi was like a pimp in an ancient brothel. This made Mojave think about it in his heart. Chunshi was fired by the company, and her artists were taken over by other agents. However, none of them rose up. After Chun Shi was fired by Highling Media, she went to other entertainment companies to interview to be an agent. However, none of them wanted her. Chun Shi finally understood who she had offended. Someone told her that it was the CEO of Mo's entertainment group who wanted to ban her. It made it impossible for her to continue in the entertainment industry. Chun Shi wanted to know why. When she saw Mojave and Maidol holding hands, Chun Shi knew why. Maidol looked down on female stars who didn't have any dignity and would do anything to get a role. However, what was different about Maidol now? It was just that Maidol was serving one person. Moreover, it was in the name of love. Mojave's love for Maidol was in the name of love, not a dirty deal. Because of love, everything was natural. Chun Shi was so angry that she directly exposed the relationship between Maidol and Mojave. She said that Maidol was Mojave's mistress. Of course, Chun Shi couldn't stay in the entertainment industry anymore. When she was about to leave Jiangcheng, she was caught by gangsters. Then, she was raped by several gangsters and locked in a room where she couldn't see the light of day. Chun Shi, who was in despair, used a fruit knife to kill one of the gangsters. Then, she was stabbed to death by the other gangsters. Her body was thrown into the sea and buried in the belly of the fishes. Ning Shu. This was the peaceful world that the system talked about. Damn, she was killed in the end and it was peaceful? The original owner's wishes. 1. She didn't want to be killed by Maidol and Mojave. She didn't want to let the noble Maidol lose her reputation. It would be best if she could let Maidol struggle at the bottom of the entertainment industry, so that she could still be so arrogant and look down on others. 2. If she could deal with Mojave, she was willing to give up 3/4 of her soul. Ning Shu saw Chun Shi's second wish. Obviously, he knew that there was a world of difference between his identity and Mojave's. One was just a manager with no status, while the other was indeed the crown prince of Jiangcheng. He was the overlord of the entertainment industry. If he could complete it, he could get more points. If he couldn't complete it, then forget it. The firepower of this mission was focused on Maidol. With regards to this plot, Ning Shu could only look at the sky. It seemed that he still needed to increase his strength. As for Chun Shi being raped in the end, it was obviously premeditated. It was probably ordered by Mojave. For someone like Mojave, he could just casually take out a stack of money, and people would work for him. Ning Shu took a tissue from the head of the bed and wiped his snot. He sat on the bed and prepared to cultivate. Then, Ning Shu found that the spiritual qi in this world was so little that it made his hair stand on end. He could only cultivate a tiny bit of qi strength. Although it was only a little bit of qi gene, his whole body felt relaxed. He was sweating all over, and his head wasn't as heavy as before. He was just a little hungry. Ning Shu washed up and went to the kitchen to find something to eat. In the fridge, he found a takeaway that had been there for a long time. Ning Shu smelled it and felt that it wasn't bad, so he ate it for dinner. As she ate, she took out her phone. There were a few messages on her phone. They were all from the artists under her, asking if she was feeling better. Ning Shu didn't reply to the messages. After eating, he took out the original owner's notebook and recorded important things. Chapter 292. Ning Shu perked up and flipped through the original owner's thick notebook. There were a lot of things in there. There was a plan for each artist under her, and a careful analysis of each artist's personality and what kind of path was suitable for them. She even wrote down when there was a job and took care of each artist. Managers like Chun Shi who weren't famous were the most tired. Moreover, she had many artists under her management. Those golden managers who had produced superstars didn't easily manage people anymore. Chun Shi was just an ordinary manager. To put it bluntly, a manager's job was to help the entertainment company make money from the stars. Ning Shu understood the general situation. Her head hurt a little, so she sat on the bed and continued to cultivate. However, the spiritual energy in this world was very little. Cultivating here didn't have the carefree feeling of the previous world. Moreover, it was difficult to use qi jin. She was used to breaking stones with a single step. Now that she was so weak, Ning Shu was really not used to it. Fortunately, the strength in this body was slowly increasing. With the combination of martial arts, it was no problem to take down a big man. After cultivating for a night, Ning Shu felt much better. She was ready to go to work. At least for now, she was still in control of Meidel's fate. She was going to be a manager. Maybe one day she would be able to do 360 jobs. Just as Ning Shu was about to leave, the doorbell rang. She opened the door and saw 5 of her artistes. They were all carrying fruits in their hands. When they entered, the small apartment became a little crowded. "Sister Chun, are you feeling better?" Ning Shu asked a boy. This boy didn't look very old, at most 20 years old. His skin was very white like the popular little fresh meat. Although he was young, he had a lot of thoughts. He always asked Chun Shi for jobs and wanted to become famous. Ning Shu smiled and said, "Much better. You don't have to come and see me. I'm going to the company soon." Ning Shu said, glancing at Meidel, who was standing at the back. Meidel was the kind of girl with a well-proportioned body and a small frame. Her facial features weren't very delicate, but together they always looked very pure and lively. The original Chun Shi fancied her clean temperament, but she didn't expect Meidel to not only look pure, but also have a pure heart. It was a thankless task, and in the end, Meidel even complained about it. "Sister Chun, why don't you rest a bit more? We can go to the physique room to train. It's fine," Joey Ning Shu said. Joey's tone was sincere, and of course, he was trying to please her. The entertainment industry was very particular about seniority. Moreover, she now had some resources in her hands. However, there were so many people. If you divided it among yourself, you wouldn't have it. There was no lack of private infighting. "That's right. Sister Chun, you should rest well. If you tire yourself out, we'll all be heartbroken," Xiaoyi quickly added. Several artists expressed their feelings to Ning Shu, leaving only Meidel. Joey nudged Meidel. Meidel took 2 steps forward and said to Ning Shu, "Sister Chun, I'm sorry. I got you into trouble this time." "You didn't get me into trouble. You did something wrong, and the company also blamed me. I was actually doing it for myself," Ning Shu said lightly. "Since you've chosen this glamorous job that revolves around flowers and applause, then you have to accept its dark side and rules." "I know, Sister Chun." Xiaoyi followed. Ning Shu basically had girls in his hands, and Xiaoyi was the only boy. Moreover, Xiaoyi was young, so he often acted coquettishly to Chun Shi in an attempt to get more jobs. Chun Shi had been an agent for a few years, so she wasn't interested in Xiaoyi's coquettishness. She also didn't have any extra jobs for him. If she made an exception once, she would do it again next time. Meidel lowered her head slightly. Hearing Ning Shu talk about the dark side and rules, she didn't seem to care. Ning Shu didn't say much and let them leave. After the few of them left the room, their expressions changed. The atmosphere was no longer as harmonious as before. Xiaoyi snorted and left first. The other 2 girls also left, leaving Xiao Yi and my duo behind. Joey glanced at Meidel and asked, "Do you want to go in with me?" My duo hesitated for a moment before nodding. Seeing her like this, Xiaoyi said with some indignation, "Sister Chun caught a cold because of you. Why do you look so reluctant?" Meidel looked at Joey and pursed her lips. She said, "I know Sister Chun did it for me, but what Sister Chun asked me to do may not be what I want to do. She just wanted to act and didn't want such complicated things. However, Chun Shi never arranged for her to go for auditions. She always had to eat and drink with some strange fat people. There were all kinds of banquets. It was simply a waste of time." Joey pressed the doorbell. Ning Shu opened the door and saw Joey and Meidel. He was surprised. "Is there anything else?" "Sister Chun, nothing. I just want to talk to you." Joey and Meidel entered the room. Ning Shu actually hadn't eaten breakfast yet. He only took a piece of fruit from an artist and took a bite. He said to the 2 girls, "If you want to eat, help yourself. What do you want to talk to me about?" "Sister Chun, I want to walk the path of music." Joey summoned up her courage and said to Ning Shu, since she entered the company, she had to walk the path that the company packaged. Joey had an intellectual temperament. The company packaged her to walk the path of an actor. Ning Shu thought for a moment and said, "Okay, if you want to walk the path of music, go learn a musical instrument first. I will plan a course with you." Learn first, it's not easy to think about songs. Joey didn't expect Ning Shu to agree so readily. She was very surprised. She stood up and bowed to Ning Shu. Thank you, Sister Chun. Ning Shu was actually under a lot of pressure to change the path of an artist. He had to face the pressure of the company, but in order to keep his job, he had to make some achievements. Sister Chun, I want to act. Madol saw that Ning Shu agreed to Joey and immediately said. Ning Shu nodded. Okay, I will take you to the audition tomorrow. Thank you, Sister Chun. Madol said happily. Her eyes were curved and looked very pure. Ning Shu just smiled indifferently. After achieving her goal, Madol left first. Ning Shu looked at Madol's back. With Madol's EQ, she would definitely be screwed over in the entertainment industry. Moreover, she didn't know how to interact with people. If she hadn't met Mojave, who solved everything for her, Madol wouldn't have become so popular and won the title of Best Actress. Maybe Madol would have succeeded, but it wouldn't have been so easy. Madol's path to stardom was steadily rising, and it couldn't have been without Mojave's support. This was actually the story of a small actress who became famous after being taken care of by a sugar daddy. Chapter 293. After Madol left, Ning Shu and Joey agreed on the course of study. Since he wanted to walk the path of music, he must learn to play a musical instrument. Joey chose the piano. Ning Shu felt that Joey's temperament was very suitable for the piano. In the following period of time, Joey would not accept any jobs. He would practice his vocal cords and singing. At least 3 months, Joey would not have any income. Can you accept this? Ning Shu asked. The company would not release an album for a newcomer who wanted to be a singer. Moreover, he had to find someone to compose the lyrics and music. It was simply impossible to invest so much resources on a newcomer. If you are determined to walk this path, you have to take it slow. Ning Shu said. Practice your kung fu first. Without income for half a year was a test for Ning Shu and Joey. Once an artist could not make money, the company would not pour resources on the artist. If there was no opportunity, the artist would have no chance to show his or her talent, and there would be no money to earn. Without money, the company would give up. The original owner, Chun Shi, wanted her artist to develop better. She had to let the company see the value of the artist. She had to let the company feel that the artist could bring more benefits to the company. Only then would the company value the artist and cultivate him or her. If Joey wanted to walk the path of music, he would need at least half a year to learn. Ning Shu sighed and looked at Joey. Think about it. Joey bent his fingers and said, Sister Chun, I am willing to listen to you. I want to sing. I have no motivation to do other things. Ning Shu nodded. Let's plan it. Ning Shu and Joey had agreed on the curriculum. Joey had filled up his own curriculum. In total, he could only rest for 8 hours a day. Ning Shu felt that he was working hard, but Joey looked very happy. It seemed that fighting for what he liked was completely different from being forced to do it. Ning Shu had to apply for Joey's classes with the company. After all, there were so many artists in the company. Artists who made money were the first priority. It was so realistic. After Joey left, Ning Shu drove to the company to apply for these courses for Joey. As expected, half of the courses were not approved, and only 1/3 were approved. Joey did not earn money under Ning Shu. He only occasionally attended some events, and the event management would give him some appearance fees. Joey did not have any good works. When he was an actor, he just played some unmemorable roles. This time, Joey had suddenly changed his direction. Ning Shu was taking a huge risk. Every year, the company had to calculate the situation of the artists. Joey would not be earning profits for the company for half a year. Instead, he would be consuming the company's resources. One could imagine the pressure on Ning Shu's shoulders. Joey knew that Ning Shu did not apply for many classes for him. He was not unhappy. After all, he was satisfied to be able to walk the path he liked. Ning Shu was actually quite satisfied with Xiao Yi. Compared to Mador, Xiao Yi was a smart girl who could see the big picture. Except for Joey, Madol and Xia Yi, Ning Shu did not need to worry about the other 2 artists under him. After being in the entertainment circle for so long, He knew what he needed to know. It was just that they were not popular. They could make money, but they were the kind of artists who could not make a lot of money. Therefore, the original Chun, she did not have any artists who could support the scene. When he saw Madol, Chun she wanted to make Madol into his face and trump card. If there was no accident, Chun she should be regarded as Madol's talent scout. However, the two had different views and could not talk about it. Chun she had been in the entertainment circle for a long time and was familiar with the rules of the entertainment circle. However, Madol was just a young girl with a low EQ. She was very dissatisfied with her manager. No wonder Chun she was unwilling to promote Madol. Madol had the potential to be an ungrateful person. Ning Shu told Joey to focus on his studies and not worry about other things. Joey said to Ning Shu, "It's okay if there are fewer classes. When I have time, I can rush to work. I won't make it difficult for Sister Chun." Look, this was a smart person. Ning Shu nodded. This way he could take care of both sides. The next day, Ning Shu had not even gotten up when the doorbell rang. He opened the door and saw Madol. Madol was wearing a white dress. Her waist outlined her beautiful curves. Coupled with her pure and lovely face, it felt like a fresh lily in front of him. It seemed that Madol had dressed up seriously. When she saw Ning Shu, the first thing she said was, "Sister Chun, yesterday you said that you would take me to the audition today." Ning Shu raised his wrist and looked. It was only 6 in the morning. She was in such a hurry. Ning Shu said faintly, "Don't worry. The audition is at 9. Madol's expression was a bit anxious, but she still restrained herself. She entered the room and sat on the sofa with some restraint. She watched Ning Shu calmly prepare breakfast. "You know how to make breakfast?" Ning Shu asked Madol. Ning Shu realized that he did not know how to cook at all. After experiencing several worlds, he did not learn how to cook. Madol shook her head to show that she did not know how to cook either. Ning Shu finally got some juice and drank some milk. From the beginning to the end, Madol kept looking at Ning Shu. Her pair of watery eyes were clearly clear, but it made people's hearts itch. No wonder Mojave, who was used to the dark and dirty entertainment industry, fell for Madol. Some people just looked pure. After breakfast, Ning Shu brought Madol to the set. Madol sat in the front passenger seat. Ning Shu asked nervously, "Sister Chen, what role do I have to audition for?" "What role do you want to audition for? You just entered the entertainment industry. There are some important roles that you might not be able to get. Everything has to be done step by step," Ning Shu said with an indifferent expression. Seeing Ning Shu's cold expression, Madol felt wronged. She said, "No matter what role it is, I can take it. But Sister Chun, I don't want to take that kind of role." "What kind of role is that?" As she turned the steering wheel, she glanced at Madol, who was blushing. "It's that kind of type role." Madol bit her lips. "Sister Chun, I want to be a good actress. I don't want to sell my body." Ning Shu nodded. "I have never thought of finding you such a role. You are now a brand new person. The role you take may be very tiring." Madol quickly nodded and said excitedly, "Sister Chun, I am not afraid of hardships. I can take any hardships." Ning Shu nodded. When they arrived at the set, Ning Shu went to the director to ask for a cameo role. No matter what role it was. The director looked at Madol and directly gave Madol the role of a female beggar. Chapter 294. A female beggar? Madol's face stiffened. How could she be a beggar? Madol was a young girl after all. Although she said that she could accept any role other than those that sold her body, she still couldn't accept it in her heart. Madol looked at Ning Shu. Ning Shu said indifferently, "If you don't want to act, then forget it. We'll go to other sets and see if there are any suitable roles. You're a newbie. You'll need to stabilize yourself step by step. If you really want to be an actress, these inconspicuous roles can help you train your acting skills." Ning Shu seemed to be really considerate of my Madol bit her lips and said firmly to Ning Shu, "I understand, Sister Chen." Once my agreed to play the role of a beggar, a makeup artist came over to help her put on makeup. She asked my to take off her white dress and change into dirty, tattered clothes. Her smooth hair was messy, and there was something dirty on her head. Her face was covered in soot, and it was impossible to tell who she was. Looking at herself in the mirror, Madel almost broke down. How could she look like this? Especially when Madel looked at the female lead of the movie. She was wearing a beautiful ancient costume, and her long hair fluttered in the wind. She was incomparably beautiful. Compared to herself, she was like heaven and earth. This made Madel feel sour in her heart. Madel looked at her manager, who was smiling at her not far away. She took a deep breath and prepared to act well. Through her own efforts, she would definitely become an actress and act in beautiful clothes. She would definitely ask her manager to find a good role for her. Madel's role actually had quite a lot of scenes. She begged the female lead of the movie, and the female lead gave her dry food. Madel only had 2 lines. "Please give me some food, Mississippi." "Thank you, Mississippi." Madel, who was acting for the first time, was very nervous and excited. Standing beside Ning Shu could feel her body trembling slightly. Ning Shu comforted her. "It's okay. Just do your best." When it was Madel's turn, the stage supervisor came over and told Madel to sleep on the side of the road while he waited for the leading actress. Madel's body was very stiff. Her posture of lying on the ground was also very stiff. Moreover, there were a lot of people around her. The dust caused by their footsteps made it difficult for Madel to breathe. "That beggar over there, your body is a little limp. You must be too hungry now." The director shouted at Madel through the loudspeaker. Madel's body became even stiffer. Lying on the ground like a piece of wood, the director was very angry. He directly told Madel to turn her back to the camera. That was much better. Ning Shu watched from the side. If that was the case, Madel would not have 2 lines. When the director shouted to start, Madel had been lying on the ground. Hearing the director's voice, her head was buzzing. Her palms were sweaty, and she did not dare to move. The female lead stood in front of Madel and said, "This person is so pitiful." As she spoke, she put her dry food in the broken bowl in front of Madel. Seeing that the person lying on the ground did not respond, the female lead reached out and pushed Madel, who was dressed as a beggar, and asked, "Are you okay? There's food now." "Kaka kaka." The director shouted angrily through the loudspeaker. Hearing the director's voice, Madel's body trembled. She hurriedly got up from the ground and apologized to the director. I'm sorry. It's all my fault. You are now a beggar. You have been hungry for many days. The first thing you do when you see food is to grab it and eat it. Why do you have no reaction at all? Do you even know how to act? Any extra would be better than you." The director would not be polite to Madel just because she was a woman. Moreover, Madel was now dirty all over. Her face was covered in dirt, and she did not look like a human at all. Therefore, there was no need for him to pity her. Madel was scolded by the director until she was covered in cold sweat. She felt wronged and was about to cry. Ning Shu walked over and said, "Director, my girl has caused you trouble. Please give her another chance. She did not grasp the rhythm before." The director snorted. "Let's start from where we started. Continue." The female lead put the dry food in front of Madel's bowl. Madel stiffly turned around and grabbed the dry food in the bowl. Madel did not know what the dry food was made of. Moreover, it was placed in such a dirty bowl. Madel hesitantly took a bite of the dry food and almost spat it out. "Kaka kaka." The director's voice roared again. He pointed at Madel and shouted, "Take a big bite and swallow it." "What are you doing?" "Stage supervisor, this person is not good. Replace her." Madel's nose twitched, and she almost burst into tears. She looked at Ning Shu pitifully. Ning Shu looked indifferent. He turned around and said to the director, "Director, this is the last time. If she is not good enough this time, you can fire her." The director's face looked very bad, and his eyes were very fierce. "I have never seen such a stupid person. She is as stupid as a pig." Once again, Madel stuffed the dry food into her mouth. She even felt that her teeth were knocked by the sand. This time, the director barely made it. When she heard the director's words, Madel spat out the food in her mouth and tears fell down. She was very sad, very sad. Seeing the female lead in gorgeous clothes walking slowly in front of her, Madel felt that something had broken out of her heart. Ning Shu walked over to help Madel up and said, "Go and change your clothes." You are tired today. Go back and have a good rest. Ning Shu looked at my duoer's face, which was covered in dust and tears. Her face was simply unsightly. Ning Shu took out a piece of tissue and let my duoer wipe her face clean. Sister Chun, don't you think I am very useless? Today's incident had a great impact on Maydol. She thought that being an actress was her dream, and she also thought that she was talented, but now she just wanted to cry. Ning Shu just comforted her. Take it slow. Maydol went in to change her clothes. When she came out, she was wearing a white dress. The dress was full of black marks, and Maydol's neck was also black. Anyway, she had played a beggar, so she was dirty all over. Ning Shu got in the car, and Maydol followed. As soon as she got in the car, Maydol began to cry. Maydol couldn't stand it anymore. She met Mojave, and had sex with Mojave, who was a traditional Chinese medicine doctor. From then on, her path to stardom was smooth. When others were struggling, Maydol didn't suffer at all. Mojave was Maydol's golden finger. Chun-Shi always brought my duo to all kinds of banquets and dinners, because she didn't want my duo to suffer like this. If a director or producer took a fancy to my duo and felt that my duo was suitable for a role, they would let my duo play a role. Perhaps Chun-Shi's style was a bit radical, but it wasn't as bad as Maydol said. At least Chun-Shi didn't let her artists climb into other people's bed. Chapter 295. To a certain extent, Maydol had sold her body to achieve success, but Maydol had always looked down on other actresses, who had no self-respect and self-respect. Since you want to rely on your own strength to achieve success, I'll fulfill your wish. In the car, Maydol cried for a while and stopped. Looking at Ning Shu's cold face, she only felt a little cold and very tired. When they arrived at the apartment, Ning Shu sent Maydol into the house. In the house, Joey was listening to music with headphones. When he saw Ning Shu and Maydol, he quickly took off his headphones. What happened to you? Joey saw Maydol in such a sorry state and asked in surprise. Maydol saw that Joey was so comfortable while she was in such a sorry state. Maydol said nothing and went into the bathroom to take a shower. Maydol and Joey were newcomers. This kind of small apartment was specially for newcomers. If an artist made money and became famous, the company would redistribute the villa. Of course, the artist could also buy a mansion if he or she had the money. Maydol and Joey were both under Chun-Shi, so the company let them live together. Chun-Shi's room was also in this small apartment. Ning Shu sat on the sofa and asked Joey, "How's your study?" "It's very good. Thank you, Sister Chun, for giving me this opportunity." Joey smiled and said sincerely to Ning Shu. Ning Shu nodded. "Good luck. Our fates are intertwined. I want you to become famous and earn money more than anyone else. Sister Chun, I will do my best." Joey's condition was very good. Ning Shu said, "Sister Chun, I wrote a song and composed it myself. Can you take a look at it for me?" Ning Shu waved his hand. "I'm not a professional. If you really want to see how the song is, go to the studio tomorrow and record it and post it on the internet." "I know, Sister Chun." Joey thought that this might be his first song, and that it was composed by himself. He was very excited. "There's an announcement in the mall the day after tomorrow. It's actually a show for models. You can go," Ning Shu said to Joey. Joey nodded and agreed without saying anything. Maydol, who was taking a shower in the bathroom, heard the sound outside. She stood under the shower and bit her lips tightly. She felt like crying. Maydol felt that her agent was ignoring her. Could it be because she apologized to Mojave last time and made Sister Chun unhappy? Her attitude towards her was cold and indifferent, but she said so much to Joey. When she thought of how embarrassed she was when she entered the room in front of Joey, Maydol felt a sense of self-loathing from the bottom of her heart. Why was she so useless? Thinking of this, Maydol wanted to cry again. She raised her head to the shower and forced the tears back. When Maydol came out, Ning Shu saw that Maydol's eyes and nose were a little red. It seemed that she had cried. Ning Shu comforted Maydol. "Don't worry, take it slow. No one is born to act. You're just a little green now. It'll be fine as long as you have experience." Maydol nodded and nodded with a nasal sound. Ning Shu just glanced at the gloomy Maydol indifferently and turned to leave. As soon as Ningxu left, Maidol said to Joey sourly, "You're so comfortable. Sister Chen even signed you up for classes. Sister Chen won't accompany you to the audition." Joey frowned and said. Joey felt that Sister Chen was the best to Maidol. After all, Maidol was good-looking and had a clean temperament. Sister Chen would solve everything for her. What else could she be dissatisfied with? Maidol pursed her lips. How could that be called an audition? She was directly pulled to the set, and then asked the director to arrange a role for her. Today's role made Maidol collapse. Maidol still felt the inexplicable taste of the dried food in her mouth. Even if she brushed her teeth all the time, she would still have the same taste. Could it be that acting was really like this? The female lead was wearing beautiful clothes and exquisite makeup. Why could she only act as a beggar? My duo was very unwilling to give up. On the other side, Ningxu met Xia Yi, who was striking a cool pose by the door. Seeing Ningxu come out, Xia Yi immediately pressed Ningxu against the wall and said, "Beauty, do you want to go on a date with me?" Ningxu's expression was indifferent. He directly pushed Xia Yi away and made Xia Yi step back. Xia Yi covered her chest. Ningxu said, "Sister Chen, why are you so strong? Are you still a woman?" Ningxu knew that Xia Yi was waiting for him. It was nothing more than asking about the work. The work was too complicated. It was a seamless day with no time to rest. Ningxu looked at Xia Yi. Xia Yi said to Ningxu with concern, "Sister Chen, how are you feeling? Don't spoil your body. Sister Chen, you're sick. Xia Yi is so sad. I really want to take your place." Xia Yi's eyes looked at Ningxu as if they were real. Coupled with Xia Yi's handsome face, any young girl would have been mesmerized by Xia Yi in a minute. Ningxu looked at Xia Yi without any reaction. It seemed that the acting was not interesting. Xia Yi stopped her performance and looked at Ningxu with a pair of eager eyes. She said, "Sister Chen, they all have things to do, but I have nothing to do." "Nothing to do?" "Nothing to do but take selfies and post your handsome face on Weibo. With your face, you will gain fans in minutes. How can you have nothing to do?" Ningxu looked at her and said, "Sister Chen, you don't love me now." If it were not for the difference between men and women, Xia Yi would have grabbed Ningxu's arm and swung it. Ningxu said angrily, "Can you speak properly? I originally wanted you to audition for a sports shoe advertisement. Now I take it back." "Don't, Sister Chen. In my heart, you are a person of noble character and unquestionable integrity. You shouldn't do such a capricious thing." Xia Yi immediately straightened her chest and said righteously. Ningxu glanced at her and said, "I'll go to the audition with you the day after tomorrow. Work hard. If you have nothing to do these 2 days, wear sports shoes and run more to get the feeling. I won't let Sister Chen down. You fought so hard for the opportunity for me." Xia Yi's mouth was very sweet. Ningxu clasped her hands behind her back and said, "Okay." Then she left. Back to his small apartment, Ningxu's shoulders slumped as soon as he entered the door. He felt really tired. After eating something, Ningxu went to sleep first. After all, this body was still suffering from a serious cold. He forced himself to work and felt that he was the nanny of these artists. He had to take care of all the trivial things. In 2 days, the banquet where Mojave and Maidol were entangled would be held. However, this time, Ningxu did not plan to take Maidol to the banquet. Instead, he asked the other 2 female artists to go. Although there would be an unbreakable connection between the male lead and the female lead, Ningxu did not plan to let them contact each other so soon. Let Maidol suffer first. Chapter 296. The next morning, Ningxu went to find Maidol and prepared to take her to the audition. In the next few days, Ningxu planned to take Maidol to various sets for auditions. When they arrived at Maidol's apartment, Maidol was watching TV. Her eyes were fixed on the people on TV. She was obviously trying to figure out how others acted. Ningxu walked over and said, "It's useless to just watch. You have to immerse yourself in the situation and slowly figure it out. Let's go to the audition today." At the mention of the audition, Maidol's face paled a little. Ningxu said, "Sister Chen, can we find a gentler director? Yesterday's director was so fierce." Yesterday, Maidol was almost scolded to tears by that director. Ning Shu said faintly, "Now, they're the ones picking us, not the other way around. Every actor has to go through this process. Unless you have a big background, or a big shot, or at the very least, you have to be popular right now. Otherwise, why should others be polite to you? Endure slowly, you'll eventually succeed." Ning Shu comforted Maidol, but Maidol wasn't comforted by her manager at all. Instead, there was a trace of shadow in her heart. Ning Shu pulled Maidol to the set. On the way, Maidol's face didn't look very good. Ning Shu said, "Sister Chun, I want to rush to an event first, then I want to sign up for acting training. I don't know anything about acting, so I'll always be scolded." "Sister Chun, you've already signed up for voice training for Joey. I also want to sign up for acting training." Maidol looked at Ning Shu, who was driving. Her voice had a trace of undetectable pleading. Last time, when she was paid 50 yuan to play a minor role, she wanted to tear the 50 yuan apart. Even if they didn't pay, Maidol didn't feel so embarrassed. She didn't tell Chun Shi about the 50 yuan deal. Ning Shu turned her head and glanced at my duo. Then she looked forward and said, "You are an artist under me. I hope that you can develop well. As for taking acting classes, it is really unnecessary. No matter how much they teach you, it is useless. Acting is something that you have to learn by yourself. No one can teach you. Find your own sense of the camera, and work hard to make your character vivid. You will learn a lot from acting with these seniors. There's nothing better than learning on the set. There are your seniors here. You should learn from them. You're going to enter the entertainment industry sooner or later. Why don't you familiarize yourself with this kind of environment earlier?" Ning Shu logically analyzed to Maidol. Maidol was rendered speechless by Ning Shu. Although her agent was always considerate of her, Maidol felt very uncomfortable in her heart. Her agent didn't care about her feelings at all. When they arrived at the set, Ning Shu told the director to find a role for his artist. Any role would be fine. It could hone his artist's acting skills. This director was even more extreme than the previous one. He directly made Maidol a stand-in for a female star in a martial arts scene. If she wore the same clothes as the female star, she wouldn't even have to show her own face. Ning Shu was gloating in his heart, but on the surface he hesitated. He turned his head and looked at the pale Maidol and said, "What do you think? If you don't want to, then forget it." Maidol's mouth tasted bitter. Ning Shu asked, "Why didn't the female star do it herself? Why did she find a stand-in?" "Because hanging from a wire is very difficult. She has already made a name for herself. Some of the more difficult things don't need to do. The director will take care of it for her," Ning Shu said faintly. His words were very direct. Maidol bit her lips and nodded reluctantly. "I'll try." Ning Shu nodded and comforted Maidol. "Today's hardships are all for the glory in the future. I believe that you can rely on your own efforts to become an existence that people look up to. I have high hopes for you." Maidol's face was pale. The corners of her mouth twitched. "It's not like you're the one doing it." Maidol even had something similar to resentment towards the agent who said that. Maidol was very afraid of being scolded by the director. She even had a trace of fear in her heart. A makeup artist took Maidol to do her makeup. When they came out again, Maidol was already wearing the same clothes as the female star. This time, she wore beautiful clothes, but she couldn't even show her face. A staff member tied a pressure wire to Maidol's waist, and a prop sword was stuffed into Maidol's hand. The director told Maidol, "Make it more exciting later." Maidol's face was pale. She said, "Director, I know. Start." Maidol was lifted into the air. Maidol let out a miserable scream. She felt as if the wire had twisted her internal organs and was about to be embedded in her ribs. It was very painful. The most frightening thing was that Maidol was swaying by the wire and wanted to vomit. When the other party flew over to fight with Maidol, Maidol had a silly look on her face. She didn't seem to know what to do and her hands and feet were weak. "Kaka, what's the matter with the double? Fight with the other party," the director shouted at Maidol. Maidol was very uncomfortable. She shouted weakly, "I can't do it. I really can't do it." When Maidol was put down, she fell directly to the ground. Her hands and feet were weak. Ning Shu walked over to support Maydol. What's the matter? You can't even wave the prop twice. Can you do it or not? If you can't, I'll replace you. It's a waste of everyone's time. The director frowned and shouted impatiently. I'm sorry, director. We can't do this. Ning Shu helped Maydol to the side. Maydol, who walked to the side, vomited and her face was as pale as paper. Ning Shu opened a bottle of mineral water and gave it to Maydol. After resting for a while, my duer seemed to have caught her breath, but her face was still pale. Ning Shu saw this and didn't say anything. Maydol had never suffered like this. Whether Maydol admitted it or not, her success was because of Mojave. Mojave doted on her very much. For this kind of hanging by wire, he always found a double. Then the two of them would be lovey-dovey next to each other. Naturally, there would be a double to shoot the suffering scenes for her. People who had never suffered were not qualified to despise others. Sister Chun, I won't hang by wire in the future. My duer said in a fit of pique. In fact, she had a problem with Ning Shu. As an agent in the entertainment industry, she knew how painful it was to hang on a wire. But Ning Shu didn't even remind her. Ning Shu looked at her, nodded and said, work hard. If you become a top person, you won't have to suffer like this. Maydol was very impatient. Why did she always shoot such inexplicable scenes? It made Maydol feel very tired and unable to continue. Chapter 297. Anyway, Maydol was full of resentment now. She felt that she shouldn't be like this. How could she be like this? Maydol was now very dissatisfied with her agent. Why did she always take on these kinds of roles for her? Maydol felt that her agent didn't care about her at all. But if she said that she didn't care, even if she was just a small role, her agent would follow her and take care of her. To put it bluntly, Maydol just resented Ning Shu for not finding her a better role. When changing clothes, Maydol saw that her abdomen and heart were bleeding because of the wire. She coughed and felt that her lungs were a little painful. Out of the dressing room, Maydol didn't say a word to Ning Shu and got into the car. Ning Shu smiled faintly, got into the driver's seat, and drove back to the apartment. After a while, Maydol said to Ning Shu, Sister Chun, I heard that there's a party tomorrow night. I want to go. I can't go to the set tomorrow. I lost the wire today, and I'm not feeling well. Ning Shu looked at Maydol with some surprise and said in surprise, Don't you hate these kinds of occasions the most? The party tomorrow night was the night Mojave and Maydol were entangled in the plot. Ning Shu didn't think of taking her, and he definitely wouldn't let her appear at the party. Ning Shu didn't expect Maydol to take the initiative to mention it. He didn't know if it was because she didn't want to play a small role and work hard, or because she suffered these 2 days and had other thoughts in her heart. She was no longer as noble as before. No matter what Maydol thought in her heart, Ning Shu wouldn't agree. He said, Since you're not feeling well, you don't have to go to such an occasion. You don't have to go to the set tomorrow. Have a good rest tomorrow. Sister Chun, are you still blaming me for causing trouble for you last time? This time I promise to be obedient and not give you any trouble, Maydol said to Liang Mang. Ning Shu raised his eyebrows. Why do you suddenly want to go to the banquet? Previously I was ignorant. Sister Chun also wanted me to know more people. Maydol looked at Ning Shu with incomparably clear eyes, full of sincerity. Ning Shu ignored her gaze. I'm not a man, so there's no use for you to look at me like that. Ning Shu said indifferently. There will be plenty of such banquets in the future. Your health is more important. I found a CD acting course for you from the company. I'll watch it with you tomorrow. Maydol felt very irritated. This agent could be said to be considerate of her in every way. But why did she feel so aggrieved in her heart? Previously, she didn't want to go to any banquet, and insisted that she go. Now that she wanted to go and see the world, she refused to let her go no matter what, and used all kinds of reasons to stop her. Maydol felt that she was at odds with her agent. After returning to the apartment, Maydol took a shower and lay on the bed to sleep. She covered her head with the quilt, as if she didn't want to see anyone. Ning Shu told Joey, who lived with Maydol, Take care of Maydol. She was injured during filming today. As soon as Ning Shu finished his words, Maydol's angry voice came from the bedroom. You don't have to take care of me. I'm not injured at all. Obviously, Maidol was very angry that Ning Shu had exposed her in front of Joey. Maidol felt very embarrassed when Joey found out that she was in such a mess. She and Joey were originally competitors, competing for the resources in the agent's hands. Ning Shu ignored Maidol, who was angry out of shame. He really told Joey to take care of Maidol and call him if anything happened. Coming out of the apartment, Ning Shu hurriedly drove to pick up Xia Yi, who was going to audition for the sports shoes advertisement. He didn't stop for a moment. After sending Xia Yi to the audition place, Ning Shu encouraged Xia Yi and then waited outside. Ning Shu felt that he had waited for a long time before Xia Yi came out with no expression on her face. Ning Shu felt that Xia Yi didn't succeed. Xia Yi got in the car. Suddenly, Ning Shu smiled happily and said excitedly, "Sister Chen, I'm going to shoot the advertisement. I'm going to shoot the advertisement." Xia Yi was very excited. She hammered her chest with her fist like Tarzan. Ning Shu also smiled. This should be the biggest breakthrough for Xia Yi. With the advertisement, her popularity would increase a lot. Ning Shu told Xia Yi to think more about the advertisement when she was free, and to shoot the advertisement in her best state. Ning Shu didn't know about this, so he could only let Xia Yi think about it herself. Some things were supposed to be done by an artist. As an agent, her job was to manage these artists well and get more resources for them from the company. On the way, Xia Yi was in a state of excitement. Ning Shu received a call from Joey, who said that Maidol went out of the apartment. Joey couldn't stop her, so he called Ning Shu at once. And Maidol didn't say where she was going. Ning Shu hung up the phone and called Maidol at once. But Maidol's phone was turned off. Ning Shu suddenly had a bad feeling. There was a connection between the male lead and the female lead. Now Maidol could meet Mojave even if she went out casually. Back at the apartment, Ning Shu asked Joey, "What happened?" Maidol, who was sleeping, got up and was about to go out with her bag. I asked her where she was going, but she ignored me. I couldn't stop her. Joey frowned and said to Ning Shu, "Sister Chen, why do I feel that Maidol is not in a good state recently?" In the past, Maidol was noble and virtuous, but she didn't talk to her with jealousy like now. It was really strange. Ning Shu didn't think much about it, and asked Joey to look around his apartment. But Joey couldn't get through to her phone again. After looking around, they didn't find her. When they returned to the apartment, Maidol was sitting on the sofa, supporting her chin with her hand. Seeing Maidol like this, Ning Shu was very impatient. Didn't she know that her behavior brought trouble to others? "Where did you go? Why couldn't I get through to your phone?" Ning Shu asked Maidol coldly. Maidol looked at Ning Shu, who was serious and indifferent, and then looked at Joey, who was standing beside Ning Shu. Maidol felt very wronged. She really wanted to change her agent, a biased agent. "I just went out for a walk. The apartment is too stuffy. Can't I go out? I'm not a prisoner." Maidol's voice contained a trace of anger. Ning Shu said, "I didn't say that you can't go out. You should tell me where you are going. You are an artist under me. I am responsible for your safety. When you signed the contract, it was clearly written in the contract that the artist must keep in touch at all times, so that the agent can inform you." Maidol grabbed her hair in annoyance and said, "I just went out for a walk. I don't want to inform anyone. It's not so serious. I'm not your prisoner." Maidol stood up and was about to go back to her room, but when she walked, she was limping. Chapter 298. Ning Shu saw that Maidol had gone out for a walk and came back with an injured leg. She was limping. Ning Shu immediately asked, "Maidol, what happened to your leg?" Maidol's face was a little unnatural. She said, "It's nothing. I just fell and hurt my knee." Maidol instinctively did not want to tell Ning Shu what had happened. Ning Shu walked over and lifted Maidol's skirt. Seeing that her knee was scratched, Ning Shu squinted at Maidol. "Treat the wound first and disinfect it." Xiao Yi immediately brought over the medical kit. Ning Shu did not hold back at all. She dipped a cotton ball in alcohol and rubbed it on my duoer's wound. My duo was in so much pain that she hissed and gasped. Her eyes were filled with tears. "Tell me, how did you get this wound?" You suddenly got injured, and you can't take many jobs. You have to give me an explanation. Ning Shu said lightly. Madol felt wronged. She was injured, and her agent was still talking about jobs. He was a cold-blooded exploiter, a vampire. Thinking of the person who bumped into her today, that condescending and arrogant look made my duo gnash her teeth in hatred. Madol was so upset that she could not sleep in bed. In addition to the experience of acting in the past 2 days, Madol was mentally and physically exhausted. She got up and was ready to go out for a walk. When she crossed the road, she did not notice the red light and was almost hit by a car. Madol also hurt her knee. She did not expect that the driver was that annoying Mojave. When Mojave got out of the car, Madol clearly felt that Mojave's eyes were full of contempt. Women nowadays are more and more desperate to climb the ladder. They even don't care about their lives. Mojufing squatted down and lifted my duo's chin. He sized her up and said, I'm not interested in a woman like you. You want to attract my attention in such a way. That's too low. Last time, you spilled wine on me. This time, you got into an accident. Don't expect me to send you to the hospital. Madol listened to Mojave's insult to her. She was so angry that her chest heaved, and her lungs were about to explode. Seeing Mojave write a check and throw it to her, Madol picked up the check on the ground and tore it up without thinking. Enduring the pain in her leg, Madol said coldly to Mojave, I don't want your money. I was just taking a walk. I didn't want to hit your car. There are so many cars here. How would I know which car is yours? And I'm not bored to follow you. Mador limped away on her own leg. Mojave narrowed his eyes and looked at Madol's back. He sneered and rubbed his hand on his lips. My duo was already very annoyed. First, she was treated as a woman who used underhanded means to climb up the social ladder. Now, she was being interrogated by her manager as if she was a criminal. Madol said coldly to Ning Shu, Sister Chen, I'm a human, not a money-making machine. I have emotions too. What's wrong with me going out for a walk? I'm not a prisoner. I don't need you to guard me everywhere. Do you know how annoyed I am? Madol broke down. She picked up the pillow on the sofa and smashed it on the ground. Then she curled into a ball and cried. Seeing that Madol was so emotional, Joey looked at Ning Shu. Ning Shu just twitched the corner of his mouth. He didn't know what Madol was suffering. She only allowed her actions to bring trouble to others, but she didn't allow others to ask her a single question. It was as if she had done something to her. How big of a deal was it? It was as if the sky was falling down. Sure enough, the female lead should live a happy life under the male lead's wings. How could a beautiful bird be tortured and destroyed by the outside world? Ning Shu felt that he hadn't done anything yet, but Madol was already like this. Since you don't want to talk about it, then forget it. Go and have a good rest. Ning Shu comforted Madol and said, As for the money-making machine you said, you actually don't make money. Do you know? My performance this year didn't pass. Madol's body stiffened. Her agent was really cold-blooded. She only cared about money, money, and nothing else. Now Madol had a new goal in her heart. She wanted to make a name for herself, and then kick this cold-blooded agent out. Madol took a deep breath. Ning Shu said, Sister Chen, I know. I will work hard. Ning Shu smiled and patted Madol's shoulder. He said with a faint smile, It's good that you understand. If you don't make a name for yourself, you won't have human rights. If you don't climb the pyramid, you won't have human rights. Without a strong background and strength, you can only succeed by working harder than others. However, working hard doesn't guarantee success. As your agent, I want you to succeed. When Madol heard Ning Shu talking about a strong background and strength, she was in a trance. She broke into the entertainment circle alone. There were no relatives in the entertainment circle. How could she have a backer? Madol took a deep breath. Even if she didn't have a strong backer, she would definitely succeed. Ning Shu just looked at Madol's colorful expression indifferently. He asked Joey to go to the music class and accompanied Madol. No one said anything. After a while, Madol said to Ning Shu, Thank you, Sister Chen. I'm much better now. I want to rest first. Well, pay attention to the wound. Ning Shu helped Madol back to the room and reiterated to Madol, In the future, you must keep in touch with us. If there is a next time, The company can only terminate your contract. If you disappear like this, it will cause a lot of trouble. Madol was already lying on the bed. When she heard that the contract was terminated, she almost jumped out of bed. What would happen to her dream of being the best actress? Although she could go to other companies, Madol still felt a little guilty. Although the agent didn't treat her well, she hadn't made a name for herself yet. She didn't know what the next agent would be like. What if she met an agent worse than the one in front of her? My duo was a person who went with the flow. Otherwise, when Mo Juefeng threatened to have sex with her, my duo had endured it. Fortunately, everyone was happy in the end. Her sugar daddy became her husband. Fortunately, the two of them were true love. Both love and career were fruitful. Sister Chun, I won't turn off my phone next time. Madol hurriedly promised Ningshu. Ningshu nodded and tucked Madol in the quilt. No expression could be seen on her face. It's good that you understand. Maybe I did something wrong, but it's all to give you a better future. Madol's face stiffened and said, I know. I won't make things difficult for Sister Chun in the future. Good girl. Ningshu turned and walked out of Madol's bedroom. When she went out, she shrugged. At this time, she hurt herself. It seemed that Madol really couldn't go to the banquet tomorrow night. Ningshu suspected that Madol didn't want to take the role and hurt herself, or something happened that she didn't know. Chapter 299. The next day, Ningshu disinfected the abrasions on Madol's legs, and then accompanied Madol to watch the CD acting tutorial. Madol seriously watched the LCD TV. Ningshu looked out the window. The sky was already dark, and the banquet had already begun. Ningshu glanced at Madol beside him. He didn't know which woman would the drugged Mojave roll with tonight, or would he hold it in? But Ningshu guaranteed that tonight, Mojave wouldn't be able to roll with Madol. Ningshu knew that he couldn't cut off the relationship between the male lead and female lead. But Ningshu didn't want these two to have a substantial relationship so early. Madol drank water and turned her head to see her agent staring at her. Her expression was a bit strange and asked, Sister Chin, what's wrong? Nothing, you watched the CD. How do you feel? Ningshu casually asked. Madol nodded and said, I feel like I learned a lot. That's good. The path of acting is very long. You need to learn a lot of things. Ningshu said, drinking water and looking at the clock on the wall. Madol continued to watch the CD. Her heart suddenly surged with an indescribable feeling. She felt like she suddenly lost something, and her heart suddenly became irritable. Madol clutched her chest. Even breathing was difficult. She wanted to go out for a walk. She felt like she was suffocating in the room. Madol didn't dare to negotiate with Ningshu. She could only get up and walk around the room. Ningshu looked at Madol like this and asked, What's wrong? You want to sit down and watch the tutorial? Sister Chun, I don't know why my heart feels very uncomfortable. I can't breathe. Madol tightly frowned. Sister Chun, can I go out for a walk? I feel very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. If you go out, you will meet Mojave. Ningshu opened the floor-to-ceiling window and said to Madol, Since the room is stuffy, come to the balcony. It's so late now. It's not safe for us two women to go out. For some reason, Madol wanted to go out for a walk. But now that the agent's words were reasonable, Madol couldn't refute. This made Madol's heart even more anxious. Madol stood beside Ningshu and felt the night breeze. The inexplicable anxiety in her heart didn't lessen. Madol always felt that something was far away from her, and it was something very important. It made her heart empty all of a sudden. What was wrong with this damn emotion? Madol was very anxious the whole night. Ningshu accompanied her for one night. The next day, Madol looked haggard. Her clear eyes were a little dim. Obviously, she didn't sleep the whole night. Drink some milk. Ningshu handed a cup of hot milk to Madol. Madol lazily took it and took a sip. Ningshu said, Sister Chun, I don't know what's wrong. I'm really upset. It's okay. Have a good rest, Ningshu said lightly. Ningshu was very generous to let Madol rest for a few more days. Moreover, Madol's leg was a little injured, so she couldn't take on any more roles. Madol was in a bad mood, but Ningshu was in a good mood now. he temporarily broke up their relationship. In addition, Joey's original songs were doing very well on the internet. Recently, there was a talent show, and Joey wanted to have a try. Ning-shu applied to the company and the company approved. Most of the time, Ning-shu accompanied Joey to take part in the competition. Then, he had to check on the shooting progress of Xia Yi's advertisement. Anyway, he was very busy. Compared with the other two newcomers who were thriving, Maidel seemed to have nothing to do. Seeing that the other two people were running ahead of her, Maidel was anxious. If the two people developed well, the resources in the hands of their agents would be given to them. It was related to her own future. No matter how noble Maidel was, she was anxious. She ran to ask Ning-shu if there were any roles that she wanted now. Besides, during this period of time, Maidel thought that her acting skills would not be scolded by the director anymore. Ning-shu was now busy with Joey's affairs. Some of the songs that Joey sang in the competition were self-composed. In addition, Joey could play the piano. Joey had an intellectual temperament and was very calm in everything he did. He could leave a good impression on people. When he took part in the talent show, he gained some fans. She had talent and drive. The more Joey fought, the braver she became. She had the aura of someone who could overcome all obstacles. The company had placed their attention on Joey. Obviously, they wanted to package Joey. If she got a good ranking, they would let Joey release an album. An artist could only be considered a singer if they released an album, and it sold well. Now, Ning-shu was happy that he finally had a good artist under his management. Maidel anxiously asked him for a role, but Ning-shu just said that he would wait until Joey finished the competition. Maidel was suddenly unhappy. She bit her lips tightly. She felt that the agent was very biased. He helped Joey learn music and let Joey compete. Now it was all on Joey. Maidel was very jealous. They were both artists under his management. Why was he so biased? He gave her roles that were bitter, tiring, and dirty. He treated Joey like a treasure in the palm of his hand. The difference in treatment was too much. Maidel looked at Ning-shu's attentive look as he handed Joey a towel and water. She was a little jealous. In the past, Chun-Shi gave a lot of resources to Maidel. Maidel didn't feel anything and blamed Chun-Shi for always bringing her to such unbearable occasions. If she wanted to act, she could act. But now, Ning-shu was a little biased, and Maidel couldn't stand it. Ning-shu deliberately ignored Maidel for a while before taking Maidel to the audition. Maidel summoned up her courage and asked Ning-shu, "Sister Chun, can I not play those small roles? I want to play a better role." There was no fame for playing small roles, and it was very difficult. Joey was now a little famous, but she still hadn't achieved anything. She wanted to present herself on the screen with the best attitude. Ning-shu looked at Maidel's anxious look. Her eyebrows were full of anxiety. Now Maidel's mentality was unbalanced. Ning-shu saw it and asked Maidel, "What role do you want to play?" Maidel bit her lip and said to Ning-shu, "Sister Chun, I want to take the role of the third or second female lead." Maidel saw Ning-shu's surprised face and felt a little guilty. She changed her words and said, "Maid, unimportant role is also okay. I just want to show my face." Ning-shu sighed, looked at Maidel and said, "I'll try to get you such a role." Thank you, Sister Chun." Maidel's face lit up with joy. She looked at Ning-shu with clear eyes and was looking forward to the role that her agent found for her. Ning-shu ignored her and drove to the set. Maidel was very excited and expectant along the way. Chapter 300. Maidel finally got the role she had been looking forward to. However, the role of this servant was a slut who seduced the master and was beaten to death by the mistress of the house. In fact, this role was not bad. At least there were many opportunities to show her face. However, when she was beaten to death, she had to take off her buttocks and be beaten with the board. No one had accepted this role because her buttocks were exposed. In fact, it was not completely exposed. She had to take off her pants and cover it with her clothes. Half of it was exposed. The plot was arranged like this. This extremely coquettish woman would receive such retribution, which would make the audience very satisfied. This was a villain role. The filming company had not found a role for a long time. Famous actresses did not accept this role. It was a role that was completely hated. There was also a scene where her pants were taken off, and she was beaten with the board. This made the actress very resistant. Although she wore underwear and covered it with her clothes, her white thighs were exposed. However, if she took off her pants in front of so many people and was beaten with the board, the actresses who wanted to go far away would not accept it. The most important thing was that this role was very unlikable. It was very shameless. If she acted well, she might become popular. However, it would be a black and red. She might not be able to get rid of the label of a whore. Ning Shu told Maidel about this situation. When Maidel heard this, she looked at Ning Shu in shock. She stuttered and said angrily, "How can it be such a role?" Ning Shu shook his head and said, "The other roles are all side roles that do not have much influence. This is the best role, and it will appear the most. In fact, I also do not agree with you taking this role. This kind of role is very difficult to handle. Moreover, it will have a bad influence. It is better to start with some small roles and hone your acting skills step by step." Maidel nodded. "Then I will take on other roles." Following this, Ning Shu took on various roles for Maidel: a corpse, a brothel girl, or a hostage taken by criminals. Although Maidel felt that she had made a breakthrough in her acting skills, her face was still stiff when she was acting. Sometimes she couldn't even read her lines smoothly. Every time the director scolded Maidel, the more nervous Maidel was. The more nervous she was, the easier it was for her to make mistakes. She had NGs many times, which made everyone impatient, especially the actors who acted with Maidel. They were quite dissatisfied with Maidel. Every time, Maidel would slow down the progress of the filming. If she met a hot-tempered director, she would be replaced after 2 or 3 takes. Many times, Maidel was so busy that she couldn't even earn enough money to play a minor role. She couldn't even get a box lunch. Ning Shu saw this in his heart and did not blame Maidel. He kept comforting her. However, Ning Shu's consolation was of no use to Maidel. Now Maidel was very anxious. After being denied and questioned countless times, Maidel fell into a cycle of self-doubt and denial. She even had the feeling of self-loathing and felt that she was really useless. Ning Shu always said in Maidel's ear over and over again, "It's okay, take it slow, take it slow." After many times, Maidel couldn't stand it anymore. She directly shouted at Ning Shu, "How can I take it slow? How can I take it slow? I still haven't achieved anything. I'm so annoyed. You always ask me to act these roles. When can I make a name for myself?" Ning Shu didn't speak. He just looked at Maidel with broad and kind eyes. Under Ning Shu's gaze, the blue veins on Maidel's forehead jumped. She was very tired and fell on the sofa. When she saw that Ning Shu didn't speak, she felt a little regretful. She apologized to Ning Shu. "Sorry, Sister Chin. I'm just in a bad mood." Ning Shu said very understandingly, "I know you've been under a lot of pressure recently. Take a shower and go to sleep." Maidel nodded and dragged her tired body to the bathroom. Ning Shu looked at Maidel's back. Well, Maidel now didn't have the spirit when she first entered the entertainment circle. Now Maidel was full of tiredness and lingering gloom. It was the gloom of having talent, but not being recognized. Would Mojave like Maidel like this? Maybe. Maidel came out of the shower and saw that her agent had left. However, Joey, who had been busy with the album release, had come back. Joey, who used to have long hair, had cut her hair short. There was a little mischievousness in her intellectual look. She looked more energetic. Although she was busy all day, she looked very good and full of vitality. Maidel saw Joey, who was full of vigor. They were clearly on the same level, but Joey had already walked in front of her. She had worked so hard, but had not succeeded. However, Joey had succeeded so easily. Maidel was not reconciled and jealous. On the set she had suffered a lot. She had also seen how willful those big stars were. She had been scolded by the director. But those big stars could just say that they were in a bad mood, and they could stop filming. The director didn't dare to say anything. Such an obvious difference in treatment made Maidel's heart grow sour. One day she would also succeed. She would not have to suffer like this, and make those directors kneel down and praise her. My duo just wanted to succeed. She was under a lot of pressure now. Everything around her was giving her a lot of pressure. The atmosphere of the entertainment industry was so oppressive that my duo almost couldn't breathe. When she was washing her hair just now, her fingers were covered in strands of hair. Joey, how's the preparation of your album? Madel asked Joey. Joey smiled and said, it's pretty good. I'm recording now, but there's still some time before the album is released. It's still early. Seeing the smile on Joey's face, Madel's heart became even more sour. She pretended to say unintentionally, Sister Chun is so good to you. It seems that she wants to make you a queen. Joey frowned and then said, Sister Chun is very good to everyone. She is also very good to you. She goes to pick up shows for you every day. Recently, Sister Chun said that she wanted to take care of you. She didn't even go to my recording. Madel was speechless. Well, it was pretty good. However, Madel felt that her agent was not really good to her. If she was good to her, why did she pick up such shows for her? This was what Madel was most dissatisfied with about her agent. So irritated. Madel felt that she could not vent out the anger in her heart. It was so uncomfortable that she wanted to die. She wanted to say that her agent was not good, but her agent did everything well. She could not find any fault with her agent. But because of this, she felt sullen in her heart. Madel hammered her chest, as if she wanted to spit out the anger in her heart. Seeing Madel like this, Joey asked, what are you doing? Why are you hitting yourself for no reason? Madel looked at Joey faintly. She sighed and said jealously, Joey, I really envy you. At least you have a direction to work hard. I don't even have the motivation to work hard now. Madel only felt tired now. She had worked hard, but did not get the same return. Chapter 301. Even though Madel was very tired, Ning Shu took Madel to the audition regardless of the weather. Ning Shu ignored Madel's tired face and accepted the role for Madel. Madel discussed with Ning Shu, Sister Chen, can you give me a minor role? I'm very tired. I'm tired of playing such minor roles. Ning Shu said indifferently, I know you're tired, but what I want to say is that you can't even play such a simple minor role. Even if there's an important role for you. Do you think you can do it? Madel bit her lip. I can. Her confidence had been worn down by these strange roles. Madel's nose twitched. She felt like she couldn't see the future. Wearing a dirty minor role, she felt like she would be tortured until she went crazy. Ning Shu smiled indifferently. Madel, it's not that I don't want to give you a good role. It's true that I can't get any good roles. You don't have any works. Although you're tired now, you can always learn something. You're too impetuous now. Calm down. Madel was annoyed. Hearing her manager use such words to brush her off every time, Madel's heart became even more irritable. Madel was so angry that she wanted to cry. She wanted to leave. What future did she have with such a manager? Ning Shu took Madel to beg the director to give her a role. When the director saw Madel, he directly said that there were no more minor roles. Ning Shu clearly saw the stage supervisor and assistant director looking for minor roles, but he told them that he didn't want them. He obviously didn't want Madel. Madel had been in this kind of place for a while. She immediately understood what the other party meant. Her face turned green with anger. She didn't want to play such a role, but in the end, the other party actually rejected her. Madel was embarrassed and angry at this moment. Ning Shu took Madel to a few sets, but they didn't want her. A director directly said, this girl is not good at acting. She's just a minor role, but she has to NG so many times. Everyone is in a bad mood. Many actors don't like her. Ning Shu was speechless. The future movie queen was actually said to be not good at acting. Was Madel really not good at acting? Or was the movie queen award fake? Or maybe Mojave used his strong ability to turn Madel into a movie queen. Who knows? In any case, Meyer did not even have the chance to play a minor role. Previously, Meyer had despised minor roles, but now, she did not even have the chance to play one. Madel was probably on the blacklist of these directors. Ning Shu had no choice but to take Madel back. As soon as they got into the car, Madel cried so hard that she couldn't breathe. Her face was pale with anger. Ning Shu felt that Madel was too fragile. If she encountered such a situation, she definitely wouldn't cry. Instead, She would shamelessly ask the director for a role. But Ning Shu wouldn't give up his face to ask for a role for Maydol. She didn't like such a role. Even if she begged Maydol, she wouldn't cherish it and would despise it. Ning Shu looked at Maydol and cried. Maydol cried out all the grievances she had suffered recently. Her eyelids were swollen. Finally she stopped crying. She turned to look at Ning Shu. A pair of fish eyes stared at Ning Shu. Ning Shu was speechless. Sister Chun, I want to take the role of that servant girl, Maydol said firmly to Ning Shu. Ning Shu raised his eyebrows. Are you sure? That role isn't easy to play. She was going to be taken off her pants and spanked. It seemed that the noble Maydol had been forced to lose her principles. Now that she wanted to take the role, there were many seductive men in this movie. In the end, she was beaten to death. It was an annoying role. For the first time on the screen, she had to take on some positive roles. Otherwise, the role would be fixed, and she would give people the impression that she was a bad woman. Do you really want to take this role? I don't want you to take this role, Ning Shu persuaded Maydol. But now, Maydol's mind was filled with the director's disdain. The recent disappointment made Maydol want to prove that she could do it. Moreover, there were many opportunities to appear in this role. Maydol wanted to take this role. She had never thought that acting would be so complicated. She just wanted to act in peace and quiet. Ning Shu said calmly, Are you sure you want to take this role? Yes, I must prove to them that I can act. My duo furrowed her brows tightly. Although her words were impassioned, her expression was filled with uncertainty. Being rejected by so many directors was a devastating blow to Maydol's confidence. Maydol, who was determined to be a movie queen, was now beaten to such a state. Ning Shu unscrewed a bottle of mineral water for Maydol and handed it to her. She looked tired, lost, helpless, defeated, and unwilling. Maydol with Mojave and Maydol without Mojave were completely different. Without Mojave, Maydol couldn't move an inch and couldn't maintain the purity and beauty she had when she first entered the entertainment industry. The entertainment industry was a big dye vat. Everyone in it would be dyed black. Maydol was lucky to meet Mojave. Mojave gave Maydol a strong protection, while others were struggling bitterly and even resorting to crooked means in order to climb up. My duo stood at the top of the pyramid and leaned on her sugar daddy. She looked down at these people who did not respect themselves and sold their dignity and desires for a role. She despised these people. Ning Shu laughed in his heart and called the director. The director asked Maydol to audition. This role was very difficult and required a lot of acting skills, but the director agreed when he saw the pure Maydol. The unexpected success made Ning Shu feel a little strange. When Maydol heard that she passed the audition, she was very happy. Her gloominess was swept away, and she was bright and beautiful. Ning Shu just smiled faintly and didn't say anything. Then, he stayed by Maydol's side and took care of her every day. Even when she was filming at night, Ning Shu was always there. Ning Shu received the title of a good manager. Ning Shu could only say that they thought too much. Even if she wanted to target someone, she wouldn't be so blatant. If the original owner came back and found out that she had been fired, she would collapse. What was the point of counterattacking? He had to be on the right side of things. He could not allow Meyer to attack him. She and Maydol would fall out sooner or later. Now Ning Shu felt that Maydol was full of resentment towards him. If Maydol rose up, she would definitely kick him out. Ning Shu now understood the director's intention. Maydol had a pure face, but the role was a slut who shamelessly seduced men. It was a huge contrast. Imagine a pure face seducing men. This role was even more explosive. Chapter 302. My duo began to act. She was in her best condition, but her performance was still very stiff. She usually had to take several takes before she could pass. Ning Shu saw that the director was holding his breath. The actors who acted with Maydol did not like Maydol, and they said very unpleasant things in private. Almost everyone despised Maydol's acting. Maydol always complained to Ning Shu tearfully after hearing this. Maydol thought that she would be in a good state if she did not play a small role and acted more. But now everyone was blaming her for slowing down the process. Everyone in the crew looked at her strangely, which made my duo very uncomfortable. What made my duo even more frustrated was that the male actor she was acting with was always trying to take advantage of her. Sometimes, he would even touch her chest with his elbow, and the other party would pretend to be very serious. Madel wanted to cry, but she did not know what to say. The actors always had physical contact with her, and one of their hands was always touching her body. Especially during filming, she had to try her best to not make mistakes, and she also had to endure the men taking advantage of her. Madel could not stand it anymore, so she told Ningshu. Ningshu comforted her. Bear with it. The actor who acted with you is a senior. Bear with it. But he is so terrible to me. Madel stared at Ningshu with her eyes wide open. He is so disgusting and dirty. Then you go and expose him. You are still filming. What good will it do you to fall out with him? I said that this industry is so cruel. Without success and recognition, there is no human rights. You are just an ant. I can guarantee that if you expose him now, you don't have to stay in this crew. Ningshu said indifferently, calmly and cruelly. He can decide your fate with one word. However, Madel's heart was in turmoil. She felt terrible. She had pushed her worldview aside and destroyed the worldview that she had established. She had to rebuild her worldview to adapt to the entertainment industry. Madel was very resistant. Did she really have to go with the flow? She just wanted to act. Why would there be such a thing? The director is calling for you. It's your turn. Ningshu nudged Madel, who was in a daze with a pale face. Madel was in a trance, but she was not in a good state. After many takes, the director was so angry that he took off his hat and threw it on the ground. He pointed at Madel's nose and scolded. What the hell is wrong with you? I asked you to play a person, not a wooden figure. You are supposed to seduce people. Can't you be more charming? I'm sorry, it's my fault. I'm sorry, director. Madel apologized to the director with a numb expression. Seriously, I'm not shooting today. The director was very annoyed. He pointed at Madel and said, You stay, I'll tell you the script. Tell her the script. Madel felt a little strange. She then saw that other people were looking at her meaningfully and ambiguously. Ningshu walked over and said to the director, Director, Madel is not in a good state today. She is not feeling well, and her face is very pale. The director looked at Madel in a trance and waved his hand. Let's forget about it today. If this drags on, when can we finish shooting? Madel's face was getting paler. It was already dark, and the night wind was blowing. Madel felt very cold. She had never felt so cold in her life. She was really tired. Ningshu brought Madel back to the small apartment. Along the way, Madel was in a trance. Her face was pale and she looked quite scary. When she reached the apartment, she fell onto the sofa and hugged the pillow as she cried. She wailed loudly and her heart was torn apart. Although Madel was crying uncomfortably, Ningshu's heart was carefree. This was the original owner's mood. Because of Madel, Chun-Chi lost her job and couldn't survive in Jiang City's entertainment industry. She was imprisoned and raped by gangsters. In the end, she was stabbed to death. She didn't even have a grave and was directly buried in a fish's stomach. Perhaps Madel didn't even know that someone would meet with a disaster because of a few words from her. At that time, she and Mojave were probably living happily. How would she know? Ningshu sat at the side and supported his chin as he looked at Madel. Madel's purity and quickness were being worn away. After meeting Mojave, Madel could swim freely in the big dye vat. But without Mojave, Madel was nothing. Ningshu ruined Madel and Mojave's first night. Without this entanglement, Madel and Mojave wouldn't be able to break through. Meyer was tired from crying. She wiped the tears off her face and turned around to see her agent looking at her with a calm and indifferent gaze. A chill ran down Meyer's spine. Madel's heart suddenly had a fear of her agent. She felt that something was wrong, but she couldn't tell what was wrong. Ningshu said to Madel, Don't cry. Look at you crying so many times. You didn't cry so much in the past. Why do you look like you're soaking in bitter water now? Madel sobbed twice. Why was her acting path so difficult? Sometimes, Madel even had the illusion that she shouldn't be like this. But the reality made people collapse. Ningshu said, Cheer up and act well in this movie. This is the first movie in your life. Act well. Madel nodded. Ning Shu asked. Sister Chen, will you help me? I can only rely on you now. Ning Shu smiled indifferently. Of course I will help you. Meidol looked at Ning Shu in a daze. It was a gentle smile. But Meidol felt that there was an inexplicable coldness in it. Meidol felt that it was her illusion. Now Meidol found that it was really difficult for her to move forward. So she wanted to curry favor with her agent. It was not until now that Meidol realized that her fate was in the hands of her agent. What she would become in the future depended on her agent's mood. After going through so many things, Meidol abandoned some of her previous ideas and instinctively made herself do the most beneficial thing for herself. To put it bluntly, Meidol was trying to adapt to the entertainment industry and make her life easier. Meidol felt pain when the things she encountered in the past conflicted with her own worldview. Now Meidol chose to compromise. Ning Shu nodded. You are an artist under me. I naturally hope that you can have a future. This is also good for me. It is a mutually beneficial thing. Thank you, Sister Chen. Meidol reached out and grabbed Ning Shu's arm, shaking it as if she was acting coquettishly. But now, Meidol gave Ning Shu the feeling that she was a dog that wanted a bone. She wanted to gain benefits through his actions. He really wanted to let Mojave see what the pure and innocent girl looked like now. She no longer had the so-called persistence. These experiences had worn away her purity. He didn't know if such a Meidol could still attract Mojave. The more used to filthy and flashy people were, the more they yearned for purity and light. Coincidentally, Meidol was this light. Chapter 303. Ning Shu saw that Meidol had the intention to improve herself, so he didn't want to accompany her to the set and let her go by herself. Now that Ning Shu had to follow up on Joey's album, she had wasted a lot of time on Meidol. She had to take up roles for Meidol all day long. To be honest, it was very tiring to get so many weird roles. These roles were specially chosen by Ning Shu for Meidol. In the plot, Meidol had Mojave and was given an important role from the beginning. Even if her acting skills were a little shaky, the director's attitude wouldn't be so bad. He let Meidol's acting skills slowly improve. The most important thing was that at that time, Meidol was confident and pure. But now, Meidol had no background and was just a minor character. In the face of such a person, it would be strange if the director was polite. Matter gradually lost her confidence, as she denied it again and again. She also became impatient and unbalanced. In addition, Joey, who lived in the same apartment as her, was steadily improving in his career. But she was stuck at the same spot. It was inevitable that she was anxious and eager to succeed. Now that Meidol heard that Ning Shu didn't go with her, and said that he was going to take care of Joey, Meidol felt uncomfortable in her heart. And Meidol found that she was really relying on her agent. In the past, it was always her agent who accompanied her when she was filming. If there was any problem, the agent would come out to help. Now, she had to go to the set alone and face the whole crew alone. Meidol felt a little guilty. Meidol pulled Ning Shu's hand. Ning Shu begged, Sister Chen, can you go with me? I'm a little scared. Ning Shu pushed her hand away and said lightly, I'm not only your agent, but also Joey's agent. Not only do I have to take care of you, but I also have to follow up on Joey's situation. And you've been acting for so long. You should be able to deal with those people. Sister Chen believes in you. Even you can deal with those people by yourself. Meidol was really bitter in her heart. She could only go to the set alone. Ning Shu followed up on Joey's album. Obviously, the company saw the value in Joey. Now they wanted to package Joey and try to make Joey's album sell better. Joey was very happy about Ning Shu's arrival. He smiled at Ning Shu. Ning Shu took the water handed to him. Ning Shu said, Sister Chen, how come you have time to come here? Are you unhappy because Sister Chen has been spending time on Meidol? Ning Shu looked at Joey and asked. Joey shook his head and said gratefully, It's all thanks to Sister Chen that I can sing now. I'm very satisfied now. I'm not unhappy, and there are many things I can do by myself. I just want to trouble Sister Chen less. No matter whether Joey was telling the truth or not, it made people feel very comfortable. In terms of social etiquette, Joey was indeed much better than Meidol. Maidel was the kind of person who felt sorry for the world when she suffered. Ning Shu accompanied Joey until night. When he opened the door, he saw Maidel sitting on the sofa, hugging her legs and crying. What's wrong? Ning Shu raised his eyebrows. The current Maidel was made of water. In the storyline, Maidel was soaking in a honey pot. But now Maidel was a baby soaking in bitter water. She was crying again. Ning Shu felt that there were some things that did not require tears. To be honest, Ning Shu did not like to cry so easily. What was the use of tears? Ning Shu had experienced several worlds and never shed tears. He did not even pretend to cry to make people feel pity for him. Sometimes Ning Shu wondered if he was a woman. Perhaps it was the pain of more than 10 years of chemotherapy that made him more resilient. What's wrong? Why are you crying again? Ning Shu asked Maidel. Maidel raised her head from between her knees. She had not removed the makeup on her face. Her tears had washed away her eyeliner, making her eyes dark. There were 2 black ravines on her face. She looked particularly pitiful. Maidel looked panicked and scared. Ning Shu shouted, Sister Chen, I'm scared. I'm really scared. What happened? Ning Shu asked indifferently. He asked Joey to get water for Maidel to wash her face. Maidel hugged her arms. She seemed to be very cold. Even her lips were trembling. Ning Shu raised his eyebrows. Did something happen to Maidel? Or did it have something to do with the male lead? Can you tell Sister Chen what happened to you? You can't solve anything by crying like this. Ning Shu asked patiently. He did not know why, but when he saw Maidel crying like this, he wanted to beat her up and make her talk. Ning Shu suspected that he also had obsessive-compulsive disorder. Sister Chen, I'm scared. I don't want to go to film anymore. Maidel tightly bit her lips. I don't want to go. Why? Can I know the reason? There must be a reason. You finally made up your mind to play this role. Why don't you play it? Ning Shu asked with concern. Maidel tightly bit her lips. Her face was as pale as paper. There was an indescribable exhaustion and gloominess in her expression. The director wanted to rape me. After Maidel said that, she burst into tears. While crying, she said, the director said he wanted to explain the scene to me. Then he took me to the room and pressed me down on the bed. Ning Shu listened to Maidel's intermittent words and finally understood what was going on. The director wanted to force Maidel into the unspoken rules. Ning Shu was more concerned about the result. He quickly asked, Are you okay? Did he succeed? No, I escaped. Maidel cried and said. When Ning Shu saw my duo, crying like this, she felt her heart itching. Could she stop crying? She felt annoyed just by looking at her. It's good that you're okay. Ning Shu seemed to be relieved. He then asked, The director didn't chase after you. He chased after me, but I bumped into Mojave. I don't know why Mojave helped me solve it, Maidel said. Ning Shu. The male and female leads had already interacted. Sister Chen, I don't think I can act in this movie. The director definitely won't let me act anymore. Also, I feel like vomiting when I see the director now. Maidel cried and said. Maidel cried so hard that it seemed like she had lost her mind. However, in the plot, Maidel and Mojave had a one-night stand. They didn't see Maidel crying like this. The unspoken rules also depended on the partner. Mojave was good at acting and was good-looking. However, the director looked wretched and fat. The director will let you act in this movie. Don't worry, Ning Shu said with certainty. Maidel was stunned. Why? Because the person who helped you is Mojave, the prince of Jiangqing's entertainment circle. One word from him can make a mediocre artist famous, Ning Shu said with a smile. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.